Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are the Shank Club NFL, and we are now live on Periscope, on YouTube, and on Twitch. My name is Nick Cork. My Twitter handle is there, Win with Niners. And as usual, I'm joined by my, I would say, able-bodied sidekick, but I'm not quite so sure, as my man over there, Mr. Pete Bentner. Pete, how you doing? How's your week been?
Nick, very well, thanks, mate. Yeah, as you can see, decided to don the Gators and the Tebow t-shirt today, which I know you are absolutely loving because you are as much of a fan of Tebow as I am. Not, but had to wear it today after we spoke about him last time. But yeah, the week's been good. Appeared on the Atlanta Falcons UK YouTube and podcast. I believe they're sort of putting that in at the minute. Also ordered up a nice new Steelers t-shirt and managed to get some extra swag thanks to Victory Sports UK and Claire de Bear. So that was also a bonus. And obviously you've also got the new NFL Sky Sports channel that's gone live this week, which is also real fun. So been pretty busy on the NFL front. And yeah, I mean, that's what you want, isn't it? You want every sort of week to be exciting. And as we all know, the season is starting up this Thursday. So absolutely buzzing for it, mate, just like you are.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's come around really quick. COVID did play a part in that because I think it did make the year just fly by. So, okay. Right, we're going to do a few formalities before we carry on. Don't forget all of our social media channels. You can follow us on Twitter at Shank Club NFL. You can follow us on our Facebook group, which is Shank Club NFL. We're also on Instagram at Shank Club NFL. And also, if you want to join the show, you want to make any comments.
Seems like we might be having a few issues. Oh, he's back. Oh, Nick, you with us?
I'm back. Okay, right. I'm with it. I'm here. And don't forget, of course, we are broadcasting now live on Periscope at Shank Club NFL. Right, Pete, we had some great comments, some great
a great show last week.
From last week. It was fantastic. I think a lot of people learned a lot of things. So without further ado, Pete, the legend, the Tape Meister General is back in the building. Jason, what is up?
What's going on, guys? Not a legend at all. But I'm so happy to be back with you guys. Last week was a blast. I'm so happy that everybody enjoyed that. And thank you guys for allowing me to use your platform to just talk ball. I got to connect with a lot of your fans from over there, and that's really cool. Like, I've been getting DMs. We've been talking with people from across the pond, and it's cool, man. Like, I just want to talk ball with people. I don't really care. Also, Pete, you gave me an interesting nickname last week on Twitter.
Oh, I did? Yeah, I forgot all about that. Yeah. Have you been rolling with that, have you? Jason Mimosa.
Cheers, guys. Cheers, guys. This time I had to make sure I got one with you. Yep, for sure. So yeah, Jason Mimosa, I'm running with it. I am. I'm gonna run with it. It's fine, Pete.
Just need to grow the hair, get the six-pack going, get a few tribal tattoos.
With Jason Momoa taking all his stuff off and being skinny, that's me. I'm the guy underneath it. So kind of works that way.
Can I also say, Jason, you are now part of the Shank Club because you are hungover and you are drinking alcohol at 9:30 Eastern time, brother.
I'm just trying to get back to neutral. That's all. Just trying to get back to neutral.
Also, we have to say thank you as ever to our friends at Pick Six Apparel, who kindly have given us these mugs. Mine is empty at the moment, but trust me, I've got some shit to put in that bad boy, and it'll be coming in there soon. Right, let's do a bit of news. What has been going on around the NFL this week? There's a few things that have come up that have kind of, shall we say, pricked my fancy. And I just want to get a few your guys' views on this. The Dolphins have cut Josh Rosen, number 10 overall in the draft when he was drafted by it was the Cardinals, I believe. Jason, what's your thoughts on this? Is he really that bad, or is it just a system thing, or what do you think?
So it's strange with Josh Rosen, right? I don't remember or recall a quarterback or a player with such high draft capital to be tossed around in two bad situations like this. So I have to say I really don't know what Josh Rosen is. I can't tell if he's bad or if he's just been in bad situations. And I also want to see him get another shot somewhere because I feel like he got a raw deal. Like the Cardinals bringing him in and then jettisoning him right the next year for Kyler Murray, and then sending him to the Dolphins last year, and him having him play with that roster. That's really not fair to him or any quarterback. There is a world where he could be bad. It's true, he could be bad. I just don't know, and I'm not ready to make an assumption on what he is in this league until I see him with a competent roster and competent coaching.
What do you think, Pete?
To be honest, the only sort of outlook I've got now, I've just been catching a few early morning tweets and people saying that maybe the Steelers should sort of pick him up because, you know, we need a sensible backup. But if he's not making it on the 53-man roster or the QB roster at the Dolphins, then as far as I'm concerned, it sounds like Mason Rudolph is actually sort of progressing. We all knew that he got thrown in at the deep end last year. The guy's still learning. There's no point bringing another guy into the Steelers franchise and rocking the boat for a QB that's trying to learn. It's like that's the only sort of real outlook I've got of sort of Rose, and I don't think the Steelers will be interested. I might eat my words when I find that he ends up sort of coming with us. But for me, no value to the Steelers bringing someone like Rosen in, and be like Jason, I'd be sort of gets a shot somewhere else.
I kind of want the 49ers to take a shot on him. Like I don't see what is better about CJ Beathard and Josh Rosen. You know, like if we're going to carry three quarterbacks ourselves, why not take a shot on a guy who has first round pedigree that has a higher ceiling, even if he can't hit that? Like, you know, take a shot on the unknown is how I feel.
The issue you've got with that, Jason, is CJ Beathard is handpicked by Kyle. And that's the issue. And that's unfortunately,
that's why Tom Compton's on our roster.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I had to block. Some guy blocked me earlier because I said Compton was a turnstile and was getting beaten by the seconds and the thirds, and he's dog shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, it's vet minimum and blah. Forget about it. Tom Compton. Forget about it.
I don't want him on the field. Wow. He's breaking up a little, Pete.
Yeah, he's like I said, we were saying earlier on, he's known as Alfred over in America, and it looks like he's really in the back cave today, so he's having problems.
You're back, Nick.
I'm back. I would like to see Josh Rosen get a shot somewhere. Don't forget, he can be stashed on the practice squad, so he could appear at a number of teams. Okay, second point. Washington released yesterday Adrian Peterson, 5th all-time rusher. I found that quite bizarre, and I don't know if you've heard his interviews, etc. There was no inclination that this was going to happen, and then all of a sudden they hammer dropped it, and Riverboat Ron rang him and said basically, "See ya." Now, to me, I know they're excited about the two rookies they've got, but surely he hasn't. I mean, you've only got to look at Frank Gore, okay? Frank Gore is beating Le'Veon Bell out at Jets camp. And we all know why, because he's going to retire a Niner and he's going to the Hall of Fame.
He's eternal.
Can you see why they would cut him, Jason?
Yeah, I would. Here's why. So I don't know if you guys remember Adrian Peterson's stint with the Saints. Remember, you know, they brought him in, but they had, you know, Mark Ingram, they had Alvin Kamara, and Adrian Peterson's not going to stick around if he's not going to be used, right? Like, he forced his way out of New Orleans because they weren't giving him the ball, and that's when he got traded to Washington. So I don't know. I think that he's going to catch on somewhere. And I think that you're right. They are showing confidence in Antonio Gibson, and they have JD McKissick, and they have Bryce Love, and they have Peyton Barber. So they feel like they can get it done with the 4 that they have. For me, this just speaks to what they think about Antonio Gibson, who is a fantasy darling right now. Like, this news broke right before our fantasy draft, and Antonio Gibson like flew up the boards because they realized that he might be the guy. So I think that it's just being fair to Adrian Peterson, because it's not fair to kick him around for the last few years on a team if he's not going to get any playing time. Cut him, let him go get a deal somewhere else, and let him find some playing time somewhere else, and I'm sure he will.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think, Pete?
Yeah, again, I'm not as sort of obviously clued up as you boys when it comes to this, but obviously I know that he is a legend when it comes to the running back position. Again, maybe wrong. Was it the Vikings? He was sort of obviously there for quite some time. Bit of a legend there, but I don't know if they need somebody like that, but perhaps sort of go back there in a blaze of glory and have sort of maybe 1 or 2 sort of seasons back over there, where he's obviously adored and loved. But I don't know, when you've got a guy that's still got a little bit in the tank, where's he going to end up?
Right.
Probably the Patriots. Like, they always sort of end up picking someone up like that and ended up sort of having a decent sort of season or going to win a Super Bowl somewhere. But you know what? When you've got players that are that good and done that much for the game, just get them on a roster. We want to see them on the pitch at the end of the day, don't we?
I thought the Patriots were all going to be all in on Leonard Fournette. And they were just going to make that work, honestly. But obviously we found out that he signed with Tampa. So, but yeah, I never thought of the Patriots for Adrian Peterson. That's a great call.
But Tampa will fast become the New England Patriots for picking up players. They bought back Gronk because they got Brady. They've bought Fournette in, and it'll be interesting. That whole Bucks experiment is going to be very interesting. I'm quite looking forward.
I think we're all looking forward to seeing it.
But that's another story, because I don't like Tom Brady.
Well, here's the thing: the Bucks have
now.
The Bucks have like a range of outcomes. Like, the Bucks could be a 13-3 team, or they could be 7-9. Like, It's weird. It's so weird with this team. Like, I don't know what to think of them. And I think it's going to be very interesting. We had a lot of hype on the Browns last year too. They bring in all these guys, and it's like, oh my God, Kareem Hunt, Odell Beckham, all these guys, and it doesn't really mesh. Let's see.
Yeah.
But do you not think that was purely because of the coach in Cleveland last year?
Oh,
because the buzz again. Buzz again this year is Cleveland are going to be pretty good.
Yeah, well, Kevin Stefanski is a coach. Like, he actually, Freddie Kitchens was drowning all season. Like, just because a guy had a good stint as a play caller doesn't mean that you just turn the keys over to this franchise that, has all these volatile pieces, right? Like, Odell Beckham's on the team, right? And you have all these volatile pieces, and it can go south fast. You need a coach that can manage egos, manage the guys. And he couldn't manage the game, and he couldn't manage the roster. It was a huge mistake to just turn all that roster over to a guy who's never coached in his life. It didn't make any sense when it first happened.
And it was weird because, as I say, the hype was real on the Browns,
sure.
And they could have probably done something with all those pieces. They just had the wrong coach in place. But
yep.
And talking of weird things, the Chicago, and I'm just waiting for Claire the Bear to really light up these comments.
She's probably been waiting for us to talk
she's
about
on fire, but why have they gone with Mitch Trubisky as their starting QB? He was awful last year. I mean, truly awful. He's
Nick,
Claire.
Here, Nick.
I don't know what you think, Claire, but to me, they're tanking going with Trubisky. All of the things that you heard in all the off season and camp was they were going with Foles. And yeah, I don't get it. What do you think?
Well, yeah, where is the benefit of starting Foles and then bringing in Trubisky if Foles chokes?
Right.
I think the reason they're sort of going with this is Trubisky's there. And obviously, if he tanks, they've got someone that can come in. He's done it before when he took over from Wentz and took him to obviously win the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure the Bears aren't going to sort of do that as much as Claire would love that. But To me, if these are the two QBs, you start with Trubisky. If it doesn't work out, you've got Foles behind, you bring Foles. And if that doesn't work, you'll then go into a quarterback, which you really haven't got any sort of faith in. So that's basically that. He may well have just sort of been lighting the place up in training camp, and he may well deserve his shot. But for me, I kind of feel this sort of stinks a little bit of, you know what, let's put Trubisky in. Come week 3, if it's not doing great, bring Foles in. What do you reckon, Jace?
Yeah, Pete, I think that's a great point, and that's a great way to look at it. But here's the thing. Yeah, it's a safe face, and I think that's perfect. Claire, this is exactly the point that I was about to go into. You have to remember this regime, right? Nagy, all these guys, they picked Mitchell Trubisky over Deshaun Watson, over Patrick Mahomes, over a plenty of players, right? So what Claire means about save face is you have to try to force Trubisky to work, because if you sit him down in his 3rd year, you are admitting a huge mistake. Okay, even if we all know it's a mistake, you still have to find a way to get something out of this guy that you chose.
Yeah,
you chose him. Like you could have had Deshaun Watson, you could have had Patrick Mahomes, but you traded up with the 49ers to get Mitchell Trubisky. And if in the 3rd year you're jumping ship on him, that is a damning. It's damning of the front office. It really is. It really is. So they have to try to make this work. The other thing
it kind of reminds me, like with Trubisky, the same as probably Beathard with the Niners, handpicked,
for sure,
isn't doing it, but they've got to try and save face. But I just think it's the wrong decision. I get what you're saying,
of course,
but do you go with the person that gives you the best chance of winning from the gate and hope it works out? Or do you go with the person that you want to save face with, but you know really isn't going to do it?
But you're saying, I mean, from what I've been hearing of Trubisky in pre-season, is the guy really seems like he's going to be making an effort all the time anyway. But from what I've been hearing of him, he really, really feels like he hasn't been doing great, and he has got to up his game, and he really has got to improve. So, who knows? We may see a different Mitchell Trubisky this season, which I'm sure would absolutely delight Bears fans, because, like you say, they took a punt on him, and it may well work out for him. Fingers crossed.
The Niners stilled when they let the Bears trade up, because there was no way we were going to draft Trubisky, not in a million years.
No.
So we stole that, and I'm happy with that. Sorry, Jason, I'll cut you off.
I would agree with you if we didn't draft Solomon Thomas. I would agree with you if we took Jamal Adams at 3 or something like that. Like in hindsight, so it's crazy. Like that draft is going to be one that we talk about years down the line, right? How the Bears.
But the thing is, Jason, from all of those years now with John Lynch, and sorry to bring it back to the Niners for a minute, he and Shanahan love defensive players.
They do. Unfortunately, what happened with Solomon Thomas is a little bit like what I was telling you about Josh Rosen. The 49ers kind of tried to smash a square peg into a circle hole with Solomon Thomas and put him on the edge, but he was effective inside. And now, once you put Solomon Thomas inside, all of a sudden now he's playing well in his 4th year. It's like, don't get guys out of what they're doing well, right? Like imagine telling Lamar Jackson, you can't run anymore. You have to just pass. No more running. We're taking that out. No, you have to play to the player's strength. And I have a hard time with evaluators, because it's just like, what are you not seeing on this film that everybody else is seeing? Why try to push him outside if he's having all the success killing interior linemen with his moves?
Exactly, and he's been pushed inside now, and obviously this year is his contract year, so he either comes of age, lights it up, or he's gone. It's quite simple.
Yep.
Very good point there from Claire about, and I know all of the Steeler Nation and Pete are going to say, oh, Big Ben, he's throwing bombs, he's doing this, he's doing that. It's fine doing it in practice. It's fine. You got no pressure. You can just stand there and luzz it 50 yards, and no one cares.
2 Super Bowls. He doesn't have to do it in practice, you numpty.
Do it when you've got a pass rush. That's what I want to see from a lot of these players. It's all well and good doing well, and you could say the same for who's the guy from the Chargers that they picked, and he's back up at the moment.
Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert. You watch him on Hard Knocks, and he looks amazing, and they're all praising him, and it's all this and that. But I don't know if you've seen part 3, but he was making a few mistakes. Mate.
We're losing Nick again.
Wrong calls, blah blah. With pressure.
He's back.
Back. Let's see these players. Let's see Big Ben.
So we've got.
Let's see these other players.
Right. It seems as though it's going to be me on my own, but what I was going to say was,
back.
Even Hard Knocks could make you look good, mate. So making people look good on Hard Knocks ain't too difficult. But I know what you're saying. We want to see people do it on the field come game day, and not in
it's
pre-season.
It's a shame that your boy T-Boy wasn't on Hard Knocks, because they'd have trouble making him look good. But there's a few ducks just flew over, and I thought that might have been his passes. Jason, it looks like has got some background.
The kid's woken up. Well, we can still have a talk. Obviously, the other thing is you reckon they haven't sort of properly announced it, but Cam Newton, I think we all sort of knew he was going to be the starter at the Patriots, possibly not exactly released yet, but I'm pretty sure that we know that Cam Newton's going to be the starter at the Patriots, right, Grandad?
Yeah, but again, you see, he hasn't been lighting it up in training camp, and Stidham's apparently been really close to him. So I just wonder.
Nick, you know what that is?
Sorry,
that's Belichick mind games. That's Belichick mind games. He's never gonna put out what he really feels. He's gonna put out. He wants you to believe that about Cam. Like, he wants you to believe that Cam is washed up. So when he comes in there, he punches you in the teeth with him. Like right now, what's going on right now, and this is what's weird about this COVID world that we're in, right? No sort of preseason games, so we don't get to see these guys in action and make our own assumptions. We have to just go off what the coaches say. Now, the coaches are being super secretive. First of all, if you're allowed at camp, you're only allowed to post 60-second videos. You can only keep them up for 24 hours. The team is telling you what to report and what not to report, because everybody's playing all of their game plans close to the chest, all their personnel settings close to the chest. They're not letting anybody in on any of those secrets that the preseason would give you a little bit of a glimpse into. And who's better at keeping things to himself than Bill Belichick, especially right now? So I don't think there was ever a chance that Stidham was going to make the team, be the starter. Like, you don't bring in Cam, right? Exactly. You don't bring in Cam on a 1-year deal and just turn to Stidham. Like, if somehow, and this is a popular opinion on Twitter, I just don't believe it. Bill Belichick will never tank. Never. Not a day in his life. It is not a way that he's going to say, this team, we're losing. No. If they somehow stumble into Trevor Lawrence, that's fine. But they are not going to actively go out of their way to lose games to get Trevor Lawrence. That's not going to happen.
Could you imagine? Can you imagine Belichick tanking and looking at him on the sideline and then doing presses afterwards? I mean, to me, that would be comedy gold, because as a winner to do that, he couldn't. It's not in his nature to even get close to doing something like that. So it's going to be interesting on a lot of levels.
It's also going to be interesting the fact that they're saying that it was. Yeah, they're saying it was all. Yeah, was it a Brady thing? Was it a scheme thing? We're going to find out. Obviously, Cam being a slightly different sort of player to what TB12 is, but I guess we're going to sort of see if any player can come in. They've had backups before coming in and still doing well, so I expect Cam or even sort of Stidham, even if Stidham started, I'd have no qualms to sort of say that they're still going to sort of be a winning team. Obviously, they've lost a load more people due to COVID sort of pulling out, so it might be a little bit trickier than sort of what people sort of first thought. But yeah, Belichick, it's the Patriots. They're going to win.
How do you know Belichick wouldn't tank? It's just not in his DNA, whatever's clever. It's not in his DNA. It's not how he coaches. It's not part of his culture. It's just not. He could never. I could never see Bill Belichick ever walking into a room and telling his group of men, this is what we're doing. If Bill Belichick is coaching, no matter who's on the roster, he believes that team is going to be successful and he's going to put them in positions to do that. Now, the thing that I thought was interesting about Pete is, and this is, I guess this is my own take on it, but I really believe this. I truly believe this. The main goal for Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, as long as they're in this league anymore, as long as they are, is to win a championship without the other. Belichick desperately wants to show you that he could win a championship without Tom Brady, and Tom Brady desperately wants to show you that he doesn't need Belichick. Both of these guys need a standalone championship, just like Kobe needed one without Shaq, just like, like that sort of thing. They hear the chatter. Belichick is carried by Brady. Brady's carried by Belichick. Both those guys want to win on their own in their own situation to prove that they don't need either side. So I think that's what's really interesting.
It's a fair point, and I am never ever going to disrespect Belichick ever again. After I decided to do it on Twitter this year on his Subway commercial, and I got absolute pelters from Patriot fans, and I even got called out by Subway of America. So serves me right for saying my piece, realizing that I can have an opinion, but then other people can have opinions on me. So I am never saying anything bad about anyone ever again. So my apologies to Patriots fans. He is selling sandwiches. He's amazing. He'll win more Super Bowls, Patriots, Subways. I am sorry.
Well, I'm surprised they didn't get Mike Tomlin on the old commercials with a Subway like on the sideline that he accidentally fell over to trip up that guy on that kick return.
Wow.
He does have I didn't see him. No, of course you didn't see him. That's why you stuck your leg out. But anyway.
Just bringing this one in, Nick, because I have obviously Seahawks UK. Thanks for watching. But I have heard that I think the Titans are sort of big on bringing Clowney in, and it's almost a sort of a done deal. So I'm here, and I don't know if you've heard anything over on stateside, Jace. Is he going to the Titans?
So it's crazy. The Titans and the Saints are the two teams linked to him, but he had dinner last night with Sean Payton in New Orleans. So
is that just because the food's so good down there, or?
Oh goodness, that's what I would say. I'd be like, yeah, I'll talk to you about your team. What are you buying me for dinner? Yeah.
Exactly. Let's go.
That's probably on route to Tennessee.
Do it.
Yeah, let's go get dinner. Let's talk about it. But I think that the only issue that's going on right now is that Jadeveon Clowney needs to dial back his number. And I think that what they're waiting for right now, today's cut down day. So once the rosters get cut down, a lot more money is going to be cleared up because guys who have incentives to make the roster aren't going to be having that. So that'll clear up more money. Jadeveon Clowney is going to have to come off of that $15 million a year. Like, that's not happening. That's not happening. You're going to sign a 1-year deal, and you're going to do it for the 10 to 12 range, which puts him back in Seattle if he wants to take that 10 to 12 range, which I don't want. But here's the issue. As of right now, with the salary cap going down next year, if it goes down to the projected number, the Saints are $74 million over the cap. 74. That team is going to drastically look different next year, no matter what, drastically, because you can't keep all those guys. Basically, what they've been doing with Breeze's contract is putting it off, putting the money further down, like kick it down the road so we can continue to build here and Drew can still get his money. The problem is now you're at this impasse right now with what's going on with COVID, and now the bills come. The check is here. Now you have to now you're going to have to really make some tough decisions on who you can keep. Alvin Kamara's still not signed. You're going to have to make some very tough decisions going forward with your roster. The Saints are all in on this season, so I could see them going ahead and trying to offer Clowney this money to win a Super Bowl this year because this is probably their best last chance with this roster that they have.
Yeah. Clowney's fine, right? But he wanted 21 million. Forget it. He's not getting that. No. You're looking 12 to 15 maximum for a year, and then he might sign somewhere else. But don't forget, he's been injured a lot, and he was injured. I mean, against the Niners, the first game, he lit us up, and I ain't going to lie, he was incredible. But the second game, And a lot of the games after that, he was non-existent.
Right.
And again, like we always say on this show, there's a reason why a lot of these free agents aren't picked up, and it's not just money. It isn't just money. It can't
perfect example there, Nick. You know, at the end of the day, whatever's clever. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks for your question. And this is a perfect example. He's still out there because he's a liability. I mean, I would have loved to see him punch his own player in Baltimore. I mean, that would have made my highlight reel for the season.
About Earl Thomas.
Yeah. But this may well be the reason why this guy is still out there, is because people just now don't want to take a punt on him. They don't want to mess up the dressing room.
My thing is this with back to Clowney real quick, and then we'll talk about Earl Thomas. But back to Clowney. Clowney is Nick's absolutely right about this. Clowney has this reputation as being a pass rusher, but he's much better in the run game. Like, he doesn't get to the quarterback. Like, that's not his game. Like, and to highlight more of what he was saying, he gets wiped out of games. Like, he becomes a non-factor in games. Like, week 17, Joe Staley wiped him out. Like, he was nowhere to be found in this game. So it's hard to put that sort of money to somebody who can maybe be a factor on game day. Sometimes he's not. He's not an impact guy all the time, and that's kind of the issue. Now with Earl Thomas, the Earl Thomas thing is 100% attitude, because I like when this came out about Earl Thomas being cut, I was like, wait a minute, John Harbaugh, those guys know, Ozzie Newsome, they know how to evaluate guys, right? So is Earl Thomas done? Well, I went back and I looked and I watched a lot of his film last year. He's fine. And he's actually better than fine. He's still great on the field. It has to be something when it comes to the way that he's acting. When you hear that Ravens players went to management and said, we can't take this guy anymore, that's not good. Where do I think he'll go? Dallas?
Yeah, I've heard Texans maybe as well. I've heard, is he a Texan native or something like that? He is. Yeah.
So Dallas makes sense because they just cut HaHa Clinton-Dix, which implies that they're opening up money for him. But who knows?
One question. Why is that? And I love that player name, HaHa Clinton-Dix. Why is he called HaHa? Because it's probably one of the funniest names in the NFL.
That's not his real name.
Apart from it called HaHa, but
no, that's not his real name. His real name.
So where does that come from?
It's a much longer name, if I remember correctly, and it's just easier for him. I think that's just what his mom called him, and he just ran with it.
Sweet. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I know there's probably many people that is waiting to see the star Jason start breaking down some defensive plays.
Hey, one more thing, real quick. Go, Nick. Talk about it, Nick.
I beg you. Yeah. Okay.
Have I got to press some buttons now, or have you got it, Jason?
No, you. So.
Right. Okay. I'm pressing it.
Talk about the guy that you're wearing the jersey.
Right. Alex Smith, my guy at the 49ers when he was there. I woke up the whole house. I screamed the house down. I love this guy. And the Washington football team actually said he is going to make the 53-man roster. And I just wanted to play this one clip before Jason starts his breakdown, because I woke the house up. I woke the street up. I was going completely batshit mental, because this is what Alex Smith did. And don't forget, 18 months ago, he nearly died playing the game he loved. So, Jason, hit it.
You guys see this? Everything's good here?
Yeah, we got it.
Let's make it big here. So, guys, this is a moment that's very near and dear to me, man. Like I said, when we were talking about this before, the show started, this moment right here for the 49ers is a team that's ahead of schedule. We kind of had no idea what we had. Jim Harbaugh's first year, he inherited a roster that Mike Singletary had and was able to just be 7-9 with. And this year they were 13-3. This game felt unwinnable only because of how unstoppable the Saints offense was. And if you guys ever are bored and you need a game to watch, please go on the Game Pass, go on YouTube and watch. So this is the famous Vernon Post, man, and I'm just gonna let it play. There's nothing really to break down here. Just watch. Goodness gracious. Like when that happened, I just lost it myself, honestly. Like that, like again, that play is so indicative of the team, right? Of the team of that time, like grinding it out, getting it done with the roster that they had. And just to win that game felt like almost like a Super Bowl win, only because again, the Saints were unstoppable. The 49ers, they weren't really giving us much of a chance, even with that defense. So Claire, unfortunately, I would agree with you, but Dwayne Haskins has been named the starter. And I'll be honest with you, as happy as I am that he's back, because we all saw that picture of his leg, I really get afraid for him playing again. You know, like I fear for him. I don't want anything like that to happen to him again. So I don't know if he's going to play this year unless Dwayne Haskins really stinks it up this year or gets hurt.
Do you know what I think, Jason? I think that this is his last year in the NFL. He's guaranteed a lot of money, okay? And maybe week 16, week 17, obviously, if Haskins all works out, he will get a couple of snaps, and I'm sure Ron will do it, because I know if he was a Niner again, Carl would give him one snap as a swan song just to say thank you for what he's done. And don't forget, he was, and he's always been a game manager, but he was serviceable in San Francisco. He was serviceable in Kansas City, and he was serviceable in Washington. And to come back from everything that he has gone through, to me, that's why I've got this shirt on today, because I just love the guy. And I just hope he sails off into the sunset, doesn't get injured. I'll always remember that season and the season after, when, unfortunately, Kaepernick got in there when I don't think he should have done. I think they should have still rode with Smith, and maybe we won that Super Bowl. But again, that's another story. Anyway, Jason, the floor is yours.
Let's do it.
We've gone for nearly 40 minutes and we haven't had any film.
yeah, we are going to be very excited for this.
Dying to see some film, and to be honest, I want to see some Dick Butkus.
Let's go. So, put my screen
let's
on.
Go.
Let's watch some run through the wall. So you guys all see this, like these NFL films, right? So when Nick asked me to look for Dick Butkus clips, I can't exactly go into NFL Game Pass and find Dick Butkus clips, right? So all that we really have are these NFL films, films, I guess, right, of him playing, and I love watching these things because the music, the narrator, it all just reeks of just like smash mouth football when men were men. And you know what? I'm just gonna play it. I don't even want to say anymore, honestly.
Look at him killing people. Look. He's a maniac.
I mean, obviously, football back then, am I right in thinking, was a lot more run heavy? So there was a lot more battles in the trenches and stuff like that. Would I be right in saying?
With an unrelenting obsession not only to excel, but to dominate and demoralize.
I fucking love Dick Butkus, and you can clip that. What a player.
Dick was not satisfied with just hitting you. Was what that clip says right there. And the other thing is here's what I noticed when I was looking at that, right? It's funny to watch those NFL films, right? Because they have all these other players from back then, right? So O.J. Simpson is in that clip, right? And he's talking, and he says, I'm lined up in the backfield, and he's right up on the lineman, and he's talking to all of us about what he's going to do to us. And he's just staring over you, and part of his game is the intimidation. But what I noticed from that, and these are just short clips, how fast the man is off the ball, how quickly he can get to the ball carrier and then punish that ball carrier. Like the game wasn't as technical as it is today. Obviously, there's been advances in offense and defense and things like that. But for that time period, smash mouth football, talking about men on men, like when men were men, there was no penalties for hitting the quarterback. Like you could rip the quarterback's head off with the face mask, and it would probably be nothing. Not that I want that to come back, but that's just how the game was played. And he's like the leader of that. And to watch that, it's really exciting because I think that because we see people now, we forget or we dismiss, right? Like it's hard for me as a 35-year-old to say, oh my God, Dick Butkus, is the best, but I never got to watch him play, right? So any opinion that I have, I'd have to go back and watch. But what you have to know is without guys like that, there aren't guys now. There's no Ray Lewis without Dick Butkus. There's no Patrick Willis without Dick Butkus. Like it all happens because people make leaps in the game, and Dick Butkus was at it. When Lawrence Taylor joins, he makes another leap in the game, and he shows people, different ways to play the game. And that's what Dick Butkus is, man. Like it's incredible, man, to just watch those films. And then I love the music. I love the narrator. Like that stuff, it gets me juiced. Like that stuff right there gets me juiced.
There's a thing on that thing that you didn't show, because I've seen that clip, and when I first got into American football, I went to Touchdown Sports in London when I bought my first helmet, shoulder pads, and all the stuff. And I saw this video, VHS, NFL's hardest hits and hitters. And that section that you showed was on that VHS. And there's a couple of quotes. One of the guys said, when Dick Butkus tackled you, he didn't want to put you in the hospital. He wanted to put you in the cemetery. And I saw that and thought, shit, I want to play like this guy. And another guy who was his roommate at the Bears, and I can't remember his name, he said to run a 40, it would take Dick Butkus 4 weeks, which is like me. But 10 yards that way, 10 yards that way, or that way, forget it. He's gonna get you. He's gonna abuse you. He's just gonna kill you. And that, to me, when I saw that, I thought, and bearing in mind, I started as a wide receiver and started off thinking, do you know what? I can't be bothered with all this pretty boy catching. I want to be defense. And then I watched that VHS and I saw what he did and how he did it and how he intimidated people. And I then started being like that. There's another clip where someone says he would want you to think that he's going to kill you. So he'd come up to the line and he'd trash talk. He'd spit on the center's hand. He'd put snot all over the ball. And he would let whoever he was coming for know that he was coming. He would do fake hut noises. The referees would be too scared to call penalties on him because he was just amazing. Amazing.
The other thing, Nick, about what you said about speed, and then we can get into the plays because, like I'm sure people want to see it. But the other thing that you were saying about Dick Butkus' speed, right, is there's plenty of guys that can run very fast on a 40, right? Just run straight, right? There's guys that run 40s. They're like 4.6, 4.7. There's a difference between track speed and game speed. When the lights are on, some guys play faster. Dick Butkus is one of those guys. Challenge him to a race, you'll beat him. Challenge him to a race while you're playing football or try to challenge him that way, game speed's completely different than it is play speed.
Yeah,
that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing wrong, Pete. We need to add.
Well, no, I was going to say
a game practice. I'll get some pads.
I can vouch for big guys not being able to move until the time's right because Nick is as slow as anything. But you hear that bell time at the bar, he is lightning quick to get his last beer at the pub. So I can vouch for it. When it matters, these guys can move.
I've got 3 rounds in before they've even stopped ringing the bell for 30 seconds. Don't worry about that, Pete. You know that.
Oh my God.
But that's a good shout. I think I've seen this advertised as well. So anybody that obviously wants to see the legend and the man that is Dick Butkus, obviously go and check him out on Football Live. Thanks, Claire.
For sure. Yeah, man. So
okay, Jason, let's roll.
Let's roll. Let's do it. Let me just get this up real quick. And nope, not that one yet. Let me see. Let me try this one first.
I think we've lost your screen at the bottom. Do we need to share the screen again?
Quick. Let me do it real fast. Do the screen. Okay.
There we go. Sweet, man.
So, okay. Is this it? No, that's third video, third down. Drop pick, Buckus, Alex Smith. Okay, which one is it?
To be fair, Nick, as well, I think you are the only person I've ever seen wear a Butkus jersey up at the London game as well. So respect to you, buddy.
For sure, for sure. All right, guys.
I had to get his 51 throw. I had to get the 51 throwback. Anyway, sorry, Jason. Carry on.
No, you're good. You're good. All right, guys. So when we're talking defense, all right, I'm going to start here with the 49ers clearly, right? But don't take this as me being, the 49ers do everything right. The 49ers employ concepts that are used across the league. So they're just the reason that they're the best example for me is I'm so familiar with plays and things like that. So what the 49ers try to run is cover 3, right? Last year we saw them run exclusively cover 3. So what is cover 3? Essentially it's a zone, right? Where these guys right here, it's almost like it's Richard Sherman right here has somebody, in front of him, but he's going to stick with him in man technically because there's no one else in this zone to threaten the zone, right? So if there's 3 receivers over here, then Richard Sherman, Jaquiski Tartt, Jimmy Ward, all those guys kind of have to sit in their zones because there's 3 people that threaten your zones. When it's 1, it's essentially Richard Sherman's just going to follow this guy almost like it's man, but it's zone everywhere else. Meaning that all these guys right here, you got 4 on the line who are going to be rushing. You've got 4 right here in the second level, and you got 2 cover corners and a single high safety. But here's the issue. Jaquiski Tartt right here is the strong safety. He's usually perched up here. He's in the box right here, okay? I just want you to watch a little bit what happens when it comes to the zone and how this works, okay? So I'm going to start the play. Let me start the play up. Okay. Give me a sec. Okay. So the play is going to start, and I just want you to watch other guys. I'm going to pause it. So look, this motion, remember last show when I talked about motion, identifying what the actual defense is going to be? So notice Ian Manhertz goes in motion here, and notice nobody follows him, right? Not one man follows him because they're not in man. If they were in man, that's how you identify. You would see Jaquiski Tartt follow him across the field, and that gives you the clue that it's man. Right now, you can tell this is a zone. See how they're just moving a little bit, shifting towards his direction? It's because he's threatening that side of the field. So they're just shifting. None of them are going towards man. So you see even the D-line moves over. Now the play started, okay? Now look, over here, Richard Sherman's job is to watch DJ Moore, even if it is a cover 3. Same thing up here with Emmanuel Mosley and Curtis Samuel. Oh, well, this is DJ Moore. This is Curtis Samuel. But they just have to just watch. See, look. So essentially, 1, 2, 3, 4. These guys right here, all they do is sit back. And then essentially, you're giving up anything right here in this area down in the flats because you have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that can fly to the ball. You see where the first down is, right, guys?
Yep.
That's the other thing about cover 3. Cover 3 can be beaten where the soft parts of the zone are. So you see right here in between these 2 defenders is kind of where you want to get the ball. But just remember, there's an underneath linebacker, there's a man over the top, there's another underneath defensive back. So that throw has to be put in a place where it falls in front of him, but behind them. It's a tough throw. I mean, there is no receiver there. So, I mean, I'm just trying to show you this is how you attack the cover 3. Right here. Down the seams is where you attack cover 3 because everything else is either covered in the middle or on the sides. So let's keep going.
Sorry, Jason, before you roll it, can you just explain what the seams are?
Oh, okay. So the seams are just basically like you see these hash marks here. It's basically from here to here, from the number to this right here. So it's going to be anything in between here to here, in between the numbers, in between the hash marks is the seam.
Is that what they call the slot as well? So if you're a receiver and you're lining up in the slot, is that the same area?
It's the same area if you run straight up. Like the slot receivers can run an in and out. So the slot, if he's running a straight fly route, a 9 route, then yes, he's running right down the seam. But that's exactly where he would be positioned if he was going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you see Richard Sherman down here. You see Emmanuel Mosley, and they're gonna show sort of a man look only because those are the only 2 guys threatening. But what I want you to watch right here is Jaquiski Tartt. Jaquiski Tartt is watching Kyle Allen's eyes. Okay, this is the crack in an inexperienced quarterback right here. Kyle Allen came into this game having no turnovers, no interceptions, was 5-0. Remember last year when the Panthers were saying we got our guy Kyle Allen, we don't need Cam Newton anymore? Yeah, Kyle Allen is in Washington right now as a backup quarterback. And this game helped send that along. So So right here, Jaquiski Tartt is going to turn his hips. He's reading his eyes. Where's the ball going? Look where he's drifting. He's already drifting here, right? Sherman is just making sure that up top he's not beat, and he won't get beat there. So let's keep going. Look at how Jaquiski Tartt right here starts backpedaling into his zone. Everybody's falling into zone. His hips are turned. He's going this way. His job is to watch the middle of the field. They've got two guys keyed into, I believe that's Greg Olson if he's still playing at this time. And Jaquiski Tartt's falling back. Both of these guys are reading the eyes right here. The throw goes up. He does not see Jaquiski Tartt. That should be an interception. He drops it, unfortunately. But yes, we'll watch it again from up here. I want you guys to see it from the regular angle as well. So again, Fred Warner, Quan Alexander, Dre Greenlaw, Jaquiski Tartt, Jimmy Ward, right? 1, 2, 3 are going to drop in the zone. Quan Alexander and Jaquiski Tartt are going to read Kyle Allen's eyes. And I want you to just see how they fall back into the zone when the play starts. So they're moving over towards the motion. The line moves over as well. Now watch all these guys. So the play happens. Watch 1, 2, 3, 4. Watch their motions. What's their first motion? Back. All of them are falling into zone. The blitz is coming. Gets a little hairy. There's the throw. Jaquiski Tartt's got to come down with that. Like, that's an easy interception. Like, just an easy interception. That's a cover 3 concept. That's something that the 49ers run. They ran it a lot last year. It's happening all over the league. This year, what we've been keyed into a little bit when it comes to what they've been running is a little bit more man. Jaquiski Tartt is being asked to cover tight ends again, like he was in 2017. So you'll see a little bit of change. But cover 3 is pretty reminiscent of the Seattle system because Robert Saleh was the one that was over there. He was the DB coach when they implemented that system over there in Seattle. So he brought it over here. And then when you have Richard Sherman, you can implement it because Richard Sherman is by far the smartest cornerback in the league. And not because he's on my team, because his skills are diminishing and he's still finding a way to get it done with his mind. He reads routes well. He knows how to read concepts well. And he knows how to coach up his team. So that Richard Sherman's invaluable. That's just an example of cover 3. Okay. So
sorry, Jason, another thing, can you explain to people that are watching that maybe don't get it? When the quarterback looks off the safety, I know you probably haven't got anything to show, but can you explain what that means when the quarterback looks off the safety?
So good quarterbacks manipulate defenses with their eyes. What I mean by that is once you turn your head towards a direction and you stare down your receivers, that's when you're going to get into trouble. You can't be a one-read quarterback. And if a play is designed for the Z receiver on this side to be the look, you generally want your quarterback to look this way first to keep the secondary and the safeties at least moving in that direction so you can come back to that throw. You can't stare down your receiver because if you do, this league is too good. The window's closed too fast. And you'll wind up getting yourself into trouble. So manipulating the defense with your eyes, making sure that you're looking away from the place that you're actually going to throw or go through your progressions. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know exactly where all my guys are. And now you have to react to me. But if in that example that we just showed of Kyle Allen staring down Curtis Samuel, you saw what Jaquiski Tartt did. He was able to fall back into his zone and jump the throw. I want to make sure let me see. Is this the right one? All right. So, Pete, you're my guy.
I can see it coming. I can already see the score in the Levi Stadium there, and it's getting me excited.
I like you a lot, right? I do. Nick asked me to bring a play up, but what I'm going to do before I let this play run is I'm going to show you your defense and why you guys are so tough. Okay?
Thanks, bro.
Yes, man. Of course. I mean, I'm still doing it for Nick because there's still a punchline here to it. But
kiss off.
I know they're always
no. Come on. All right, look. So what the Steelers can do that the 49ers can't on defense is they can run straight up man. Straight up. Joe Hayden, Minka, all those guys, Artie Burns, all those guys in that secondary. They can play man. You know why? Their front pass rush is incredible. TJ Watt, Stephon Tuitt. When you have guys that can get to the quarterback, then you have the luxury of being able to play man and knowing that you're fine because you have a top tier safety. When Minka Fitzpatrick went over to the Steelers, it's like a light bulb went off for the Steelers. They immediately became one of the best defenses in the league.
This was his first game.
Right. And the fact that the Steelers were even 7-9 last year with the putrid quarterback play, shows that the defense is real deal. And all Ben has to do is just be better than Mason Rudolph, which even at his age, I am no question that he's going to be fine, at least this year. I know that you're saying it, can he do it in practice? He's better than Mason Rudolph. Let's just say that for sure.
Yeah.
So any sort of improvement in the quarterback, in the quarterback play, now you're looking at a playoff team for sure, right? Okay. So what I want you to pay attention to is, again, look, this actually is, the reason that you see Bud Dupree here, right? Bud Dupree wasn't going to guard Deebo Samuel here. Like, that's just not his job, right? But Deebo Samuel actually will run in and line up here, okay? And then Bud Dupree realizes, okay, this isn't my assignment anymore. Now let's go get the quarterback, okay? So he comes and he stands. Remember what we were talking about how guys on the line are either in the 2-point stance, the 3-point stance. So right here, these guys are ready to come for the quarterback. You've got coverage up here, or let me make this bigger. I'm sorry. You've got coverage down here one-on-one. You've got coverage here one-on-one, right? So here we go. Now look, what I want you to notice is that it kind of falls into a little bit of a zone right here. So look, this is a zone. Look, this is man here, but this is a zone right here, okay? Like you notice how right there, like he kind of just lets Kyle Juszczyk run past him a little bit, right? And Minka's up here as a single high safety, right? This is just some of the looks that the Steelers can give you, and how exotic they can bring things. Like they can run a man concept out here and have that covered, and run zone everywhere else, and they're able to get it done because they're well coached and they have a great talent all over the ball. So here's the play. Look, it looks like a block though. Here's the thing that Kyle Juszczyk does to kind of change this up. It looks like a block. Like watch him come off the line. He's not running a route. Like it almost looks like he's going to put hands on him, and it looks like it's a throw down here. I think that's sort of the look that they want to give. And 34 right here, he bites on it, thinking that the ball's coming out here. Once Juszczyk slips him, notice how Juszczyk gives him like a little look right here, and then he gives him a little step, and he's past him. He's running a route now. And that's when he realizes he messes up. 34 is like, oh no, like I got to get back now. Now the ball's out. Ball's out. All right, that's the joke right there, Pete. I'm sorry. He made me put this play in there, honestly. It's Minka Fitzpatrick trying to grab.
So I'm hoping you're going to show his interception later on.
Yeah, I can do that for you. I got you. So yeah,
put him in a clown suit.
So look, Bud Dupree's coming, but they bite on the look down here that Deebo Samuel. Look, he has a man coverage here, and you also have the 34 looking to get him.
Yeah, I think that might have been Edmonds, who obviously it's not one of the better players.
The ball's right there, and then woof.
Forget about it.
Yeah. But it's funny that he wanted me to show that, and
that's a fullback getting onto the second level, and that is what you're going to get when you get there.
Pretty much, the man you don't really want to get in Kyle Juszczyk's way. So I got one for you. Okay. I think this is the Minka interception. So again, we're looking at man. Okay. So you're seeing the Levine Toilolo right here moves over into the edge. The difference is, and this is what smart game planners do, smart players know. Levine Toilolo is not running a route. He's just not. You know why? That's not his game. He's a run blocker. So when he moves to the end of the line, that shouldn't affect your coverage. Like in no way should you think, get a guy over there and guard him. No. You know that he's going to stay in and block. You need to be much more worried about George Kittle running a route than you would Levine Toilolo, for sure, right? So this play, I believe, is going to be a screen pass. If I got it right, I just want to make sure I got the right play. Is this a screen pass? Let me see. Yep. All right, here it is. So here's the issue, okay? Remember what I told you about that front four? Look at how fast. Here's what they do. Here's what the Steelers do, okay? They run stunts, a lot of them. What these stunts do, a stunt is you're going to send this lineman not straight. You're going to send him around this lineman, and you're going to have him wrap under. So you guys have to make these linemen make a decision and see who's coming, right? Like you're going to force them to either stay in their spot or try to stop who's coming from the other direction. And it's a good way to mix up the protection. It's a good way to get to the quarterback, especially when you have these great speed rushes that the Steelers have. So the stunt happens. Now, look, this is a full-out blitz. Look, unblocked. He might get a hand on him. He's coming too. The throw, look, he's going to get hit. Jimmy Garoppolo stands right in there, and he's going to get walloped. Yes, the ball's out. Dante Pettis, it's a great play right here by Joe Hayden. The ball's in the air. They're both in a great spot to go get this ball. Joe Hayden knocks it out. Boop. Minkah brings it in his first game, and it's going the other way. 1 of 5 turnovers in that game. The Steelers are incredible when it comes to dialing up pressure. Stephon Tuitt, Bud Dupree over here. Like, I just want you to watch. And Minkah's here again, single high safety. Single high safety is a look that you're going to see all over the league this year. One guy, especially when he's as good as Minkah Fitzpatrick is, will be back here, being the last line of defense. So we're going to run it. Let's, send it the other way. See how nobody's going to cover Levine Toilolo? Why? Because he's in blocking. There's nothing to do there. Here comes Bud Dupree. And goodness, he gets a shot on Jimmy right there. Goodness gracious. But the ball came out. It's in a spot that is contested catch, but this is a great play right here on the ball by Joe Hayden. Boom. Minkah Fitzpatrick's got it. The Steelers are great, man. The Steelers are great.
You have no idea how excited I'm getting seeing the Steelers defense on screen. It's just, I cannot wait to see these boys back on the field tearing shreds on the G-men next Monday night. It's going to be an absolute field day. I've got rookies galore, and they're going to get slaughtered. It's going to be so much fun to watch.
Can I just say very quickly then, Pete, if you're that confident, 20 quid that the Steelers don't pitch a shutout against the G-men.
No, it's rare that teams pitch a shutout.
Oh, here we go. Look,
you're not gonna catch me out on that one. You're not gonna catch me out today, buddy.
No, they won't. I don't think they will. So, but yeah, I just wanted to give love to the Steelers, Pete. I'm a 49ers fan, but at the end of the day, I have to keep it, fair when it comes to judging other teams and things like that.
Definitely, those stunts, as you showed there, Jason, did confuse the offensive line because they're set. They think they know what they've got. The center's obviously called the protection. Jimmy hasn't seen that, and all of a sudden, it's just a big mesh. And yeah, fair play. That was a great play by the Steelers.
As Cam Hayward says, there's not a center in the league that can defend him.
Probably not. And he's from a football family. Ironhead Hayward is a legend. So you have to remember that too.
Just give the guy a goddamn contract.
It'll happen. You just have to figure out what you're gonna do because Connor's up. There's a lot of guys that you have to figure out what you're gonna do. Bit of breaking news actually that just happened right now. 2 things. 1, Deshaun Watson signed his extension, 4 years, $160 million to stay in Houston.
Yeah,
nice.
Breaking news in the Shank Club NFL.
Yep, and Jadeveon Clowney fired his agent just now.
Oh dear.
So the Saints and the Titans are the 2 known pursuers. But that throws a wrench in it. I believe that he feels that his agent hasn't done him a great service, him not being signed by now.
Not the same agent as Ngakwe, is it?
No, I hope not. Goodness gracious.
But do you think, though, as we said earlier, Clowney has got ideas above his station, and it's not his agent's fault that he isn't as marketable as he thinks he is?
I think he thinks more of himself. He has a reputation as a pass rusher, but he's better on the run. He's a great run stopper. Ask any Texans fan that watched him when they drafted him. They thought they were getting an elite pass rusher. They got an all right pass rusher and a great run defender. Nothing wrong with that. You just have to realize what you are, and nobody's going to pay a premium for that.
It also helped, of course, that he was the opposite side to J.J. Watt in his prime.
And he still couldn't get to the
quarterback. Helped a lot.
See, that's the thing, is all that matters. Remember Aldon Smith? Justin Smith is the reason that Aldon Smith was able to get all those one-on-ones.
Yeah.
And I think it's a little bit more damning that J.J. Watt commands all that attention and Jadeveon Clowney couldn't get to the quarterback. I think that's even worse. Imagine if everybody centered their game plan around stopping you, you might not be able to do it. So, J.J. Watt every week, whenever he plays, is a force. And it doesn't matter. Send 2-3 guys his way. He's just different. But here, let's take it back to the 49ers in another play, right? So basically what I want you guys to see here is, again, these look like man concepts. But what I want you to notice, and this is what's going to tip you so that it's not a man concept, is look how far Richard Sherman is off of Robert Woods, right? Now, what I want you to notice here is, where's the first down mark? The first down mark is not up here. That's 2 yards away, right? It's pretty close. You think that Sherman should be up on him, right? I mean, a throw right here, and all he has to do is basically fall forward, Robert Woods, and he's got the first down, right? Well, it's a little bit more complex than that. D Ford here. Nick Bosa down here as well, too, coming for the quarterback. So here's the rush. It's on. But look, man, and right here, what he has is Jimmy Ward down here threatening the underneath. And again, look at the eyes. Jared Goff is looking this way to throw the defense off because he wants to get the ball here to Gerald Everett, right? The sticks are here. He wants to get it here. So look, right here, Fred Warner falls into his zone, falls back. Jimmy Ward realizes that there's nobody else. Again, zone doesn't mean that just because one guy is there, you just stay in your zone and you don't follow him. You follow him because he's the only guy threatening your zone and nobody else is coming this way. These guys aren't threatening your zone, and Robert Woods is running a clear out. The idea behind this play for them is to get the ball to Gerald Everett here. Now, here's the issue. With the man coverage here, he's looking that way to keep everybody off of Everett, and Robert Woods is not really a threat here. The issue is this. Look at Jimmy Ward right here, and he's going to turn this zone concept into a man concept right here. Watch. Boom. He's already got inside leverage on Gerald Everett. The throw comes out. Jimmy Ward's right there. Break that up. Plays over on third down. I want you to watch from up here because I want you to see what he sees. So Fred Warner is looking like he's going to rush, right? We all know D Ford's rushing. We all know Nick Bosa's coming. Quan Alexander's the best cover linebacker on the team. Maybe Fred Warner is. We can have that discussion later on. But he's basically seeing, again, single high safety. This is something that's going to be across the league, especially when you've got guys that you trust back there, is one safety at the top, and you cover everything in the middle of the field and have two guys out there covering the outside. So what you're going to see is he sees it, but he doesn't recognize right now that it's a zone because Quan Alexander's blitzing. This is a great pickup by Malcolm Brown right here. And he has a pretty fair pocket here, right? Like he could even try to take off here, but Fred Warner will probably run him down. But he's been intent this entire time on getting the ball to Gerald Everett. So again, to Nick's point, manipulating the defense with your eyes. Jared Goff is looking left. Look at how Fred Warner and Jaquiski Tartt react to him looking that way. Their hips are turned. They're moving in this direction. Now look. Now when he comes back, it's already too late. They're already moving in the other direction. Now this has opened up the lane he thinks for the pass here, but Jimmy Ward just does a great job here. That's the perfect way to show concepts of man and cover, and that's employed all across the league right there. And again,
and I know that's Jared Goff, and we all know that he can only really operate if it's play action or rolling out.
Correct.
Okay. And he shredded the Niners when he was rolling right in that second game.
Yep.
Why didn't he see the receiver where Sherman was backing off for that? I mean, I'm not a quarterback. I'm never going to be.
It's a good point. It's a good point. And let's just put it out there. Jared Goff has limitations as a quarterback, right? And I think that you hit the nail on the head, Nick. You know your shit, man. Sorry, I didn't mean to curse. Sorry. But
no, you can say shit, piss, whatever you like. It doesn't matter. It's cool.
No, you know your shit, man. Like honestly,
most people are cursing at him. It's fine.
Always.
So you're absolutely right about play action, right? Sean McVay's first year in the league, when he really took the league by storm, was based on that, right? And he put Jared Goff in situations where he didn't have to make progressions, he didn't have to make big reads. You know, this is a coach that understands his quarterback's limitations and plays to his strengths. I wish more coaches and evaluators, not just quarterbacks, did this with their players. Understand the limitations, play to the strengths. Play action. You know, this is when they had Todd Gurley that year and they were running the ball down everybody's throat. You know, the reason that he didn't see Robert Woods there, Nick, is because I don't know if you guys know, coaches can talk to the quarterback until there's 10 seconds left on the play clock, and then the mic goes dead. So what Sean McVay does with Jared Goff is, if you notice, Sean McVay does nothing with defense. Nothing. Like literally, the defense will be on the field, and he goes and he sits on the bench and starts drawing up the plays for the next drive. Like, he has no say in the defense. That's Wade Phillips' thing. What happened there was he took the reads away from him. Like, that play is set up for you to, like, they've practiced that a million times. Look left and then come right back to Everett on a short play. But what happens is that Jared Goff has Sean McVay diagnosing the play for him in his ears. He hears it. He's telling him, watch out for this guy over here. Watch out for what's going on the left. If you notice, and then after 10 seconds goes, now it's time for you to take the diagnosis that Sean McVay's given you and run the play. Jared Goff is limited. The league figured out how to stop this when Bill Belichick stopped it in the Super Bowl, and the offensive line is dreadful. That's the problem. That's why, Nick, to your point, they ran back to the bootlegs, and they were killing the 49ers with that. Killing it. Everything was handoff, play action, and then just turning and running the other way, and there was an easy throw to Tyler Higbee or Cooper Kupp or Robert Woods right there for him, and boom, there was just green grass in front of him. Sean McVay understands the limitations of his quarterback and plays to his strengths. And I don't think that many people know that Sean McVay is the guy diagnosing the defenses before the play happens in Jared Goff's helmet. So
he definitely, and that's been a big point that a lot of people in NFL have said when you watch the games, that he speaks to him until the last second, and he's saying it's cover 3, it's this, it's that, it's the other. And you know, that's a big limitation for a quarterback.
It is.
And we said the other day, he flashes and he makes some incredible throws, but only off of rollouts or play action.
Getting his face.
He is not a pocket passer.
No. And you just got to get in his face, and he can get rattled easily. You know, that's the thing as well too. Like I don't have a problem with Goff. Like, I think he's fine. Like, he's fine. But for what they paid him, that's a lot. That's a lot of money for a guy.
I think they way overpaid him.
Like, that's a lot to pay for a guy that you have to, like, hold his hand and you know his limitations and stuff. You know,
it's funny you guys say that, because obviously to the sort of untrained sort of eye like me, you know, I've sort of got no idea that sort of stuff goes on. So it's really sort of interesting to hear that, and it also sort of makes you realise what their level and what their capability is, and why they're maybe sort of not getting better or anything. Or, you know, as a QB, you don't realise that that's actually sort of going on. I mean, I certainly didn't anyway. So, you know, it's sort of, you know, great to sort of hear that side of it, and, you know, hearing the rundown of the fact that McVay is actually doing all that for him. I mean, that can't be normal, right? Or
I mean, it doesn't seem normal. And the thing is that I feel like Jared Goff has already hit his ceiling, which was that year, the year that they made the Super Bowl. That's Jared Goff's ceiling. It'll never get better.
But was that Jared Goff, or was that the fact that they just paid mega bucks to try and, you know, have a run at it, and now the wheels are falling off and they're going backwards? Because, you know,
the salary cap again. When you sign guys to these massive deals, you sign Aaron Donald, who's worth every single penny. Like, don't even, like, you signed Todd Gurley before you found out that his knees were messed up. You know, you spent all this money on Jared Goff. You have to pay Jalen Ramsey. You know, like, the Rams they went all in trading for Brandon Cooks to try to get that Super Bowl that one year. They don't get it, and now you don't get the Super Bowl, and now you're strapped for cash, and now you have to make cuts almost everywhere when it comes to your team. So if you're gonna make that run at the Super Bowl and bring in guys like hired guns, you have to finish the job, because the only way to justify the years of cap hell that you're gonna be in is that trophy. And if you don't have that trophy, then you did it all for nothing. Because nobody remembers number 2. I'm a Niners fan saying that. Nobody remembers number 2.
True that.
And I honestly, Pete, I honestly think that Rams team, that was their one chance of winning. I don't think. I think they're finishing bottom of the division this year. I think
it's not crazy to say that.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if they finish last, and next season McVay may be on the hot seat. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Not crazy to say that. Sean McVay, this is Sean McVay's make or break year. Are you a one-trick pony, or can you adjust? Can you adjust to the league as they've adjusted to you? Because that's my criticism of Sean McVay, especially in that Super Bowl. When Bill Belichick takes away something, Bill Belichick's going to take away your right hand and force you to fight with your left. Whatever it is. If you're lefty, he's going to make you use the right. If you're righty, you're going to use the left. The problem is that Sean McVay made no sort of adjustments. He continued to run the ball right into brick walls, 2 yards, 2 yards, 2 yards. No, you have to change things on the fly because Bill Belichick is the master of that, of making sure that he went into that Super Bowl with a plan and they scored 3 points in the Super Bowl. 3. Doesn't happen. Does not happen.
Jace, just wondered if you could maybe sort of answer the question sort of down below. Only reason being, obviously, this for me, you know, spy style defense, that's complete Egyptian hieroglyphics to me. So maybe you can explain it.
No,
And
I know by the spy style. So the when you spy a quarterback, it's because they're great runners. Like you want to try to spy Lamar Jackson. You want to try to spy Kyler Murray, right? Here's the issue with Mahomes and why you can't employ that sort of spy technique on Mahomes. It's because you need every single defender back there trying to cover all those speed guys and all those guys. They have so many weapons. And Mahomes' arm, he can throw it past defenses. And that's why you know, we know Lamar Jackson's limitations as a quarterback, right? You know, you have to make sure that you stop him running and force Lamar Jackson to throw the ball outside of the numbers, right? Outside the numbers. Make him throw to outside receivers. His strength in the passing game is throwing in the middle of the field to his tight ends. Mark Andrews, Nick Boyle, all those guys.
Yeah.
Make him throw the ball outside. Make him a pocket passer. Make him someone that doesn't have that running. Like the Ravens, what's the word I want to use? The Ravens' Achilles heel is if you get out in front of them and you start scoring on them and you force them to play catch up, that's when you're going to be successful. Make Lamar Jackson a passer. Make him beat you with his arm. And now you got a shot. With Mahomes, if you back off too far, he'll take it with his feet. You want to play him with his feet? He'll throw it over your head. That's the difference. Mahomes makes all the throws. All the throws. Off the back foot, running to his left, no look, left hand pass, all the throws. You can't defend that. It's so much harder to defend that. So when somebody's adept at passing it the way he is, you can't leave a guy in there to spy him because you need another guy back in defense to try to cover Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, Mecole Hardman, Sammy Watkins. Like, even if these guys aren't great for fantasy football, they're all burners who can scare you over the top.
So is that what we're saying when we're saying a spy style defense? There's basically a guy there which isn't necessarily in zone. He's not man, but he's just keeping an eye on the QB, thinking, what is he going to do? Whatever he does, I follow him, basically. Yeah.
If he leaves the pocket, that's it. Go after him. Your job as a spy is to just watch the quarterback. Like you can try to spy Lamar Jackson. You're just going to get shaken out of your boots by the time you get to the spot to see him. You better hope that he's been at least redirected on the way that he's running, because if he gets a full head of steam and is able to get you an open field and make a move on you, very few guys are going to be able to bring him down. But if you're spying a quarterback, it's your job to stop him from doing whatever it is. Michael Vick had a spy all the time. You just had to be faster than him, which you weren't. But that's, again, you want to make him throw the ball. You want to make him toss the ball.
So that's one of them jobs that basically, if you're getting called out to be the spy for Pat Mahomes, you know that you're going to be probably having a horrible day.
Look, there's NFL players that enjoy the challenge, but I know deep down in their heart when they see the Chiefs on their schedule, they're like, oh my God, it's going to be a long day. Because, just when you think you got them down, trust me, take a 49ers.
And what sort of player would that be? Would that conventionally be a linebacker that would be a spy?
Depends. If he's fast enough, yeah. If it's not, it's a safety. It depends. It's usually a linebacker. They just have to be very fast. They have to be able to diagnose the play, figure out what side they're coming out of, whether they're running left or right or running straight up the middle. You just have to be, what's the word? It's discipline. You have to be disciplined to be a spy. Like, you have to watch your keys and then move when you see which direction he's moving in. My bad, Nick. I knew you were about to talk.
Sweet.
The other thing as well, if you're spying as a safety, you're then coming up into the box, which good QBs will fake a run, bring up, scramble around, bring the safety up, and then you got a fast guy going over the top. And a linebacker might be covering a tight end like Kelsey or it creates mismatches, which obviously a spy on the defense isn't helping the defense as such, because you can't really. I mean, when I played, there was no RPO, there was no spying. It was just go man coverage. But now it's everything has evolved. And to me, I think the spy really should be a thing of the past, because you can't really spy a lot of these players now.
For sure. And that's exactly what I was saying. It's like if you want to spy the quarterback with your linebacker, you're giving up something in coverage. Or if the safety comes out, you're giving something up in coverage, and you just can't do that. Like, and not with Mahomes. With Lamar Jackson, I'll take my chance with that. You know, maybe a little bit more, where I'll have a spy on him all day. But Mahomes, he's just too good. He's too good. And back to our point about trust. What you just said is so true, Nick. Andy Reid trusts Pat Mahomes to see that. Say, oh, he's spying me? Check the call, change the play, and we're going to go up top on them now. He trusts him in that way. Andy Reid's like Patrick Mahomes fell into the most perfect situation he could have ever fallen into. Let me explain. Alex Smith has his limitations, right? But Alex Smith, he gets to sit behind him and watch him run this offense. He gets to sit for a whole year. And when he gets paired with a play caller like Andy Reid and weapons like Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, that's when you're going to get magic. And that's what we're seeing right now. And he fell right into the right position, the right team. You know, again, it goes back to that Alex Smith thing too, Nick, right? Alex Smith had 7 different offensive coordinators in his first 7 years, right? How can you fairly judge someone if they've never been in the same system and it continues to change every year? This is my point about Josh Rosen. In the 4th year of Alex Smith's career, would it have been fair to say that he was a bust? Number 1 overall. Yeah. Right. Jim Harbaugh gets a hold of him. They put him in spaces to be successful. And now he is a competent quarterback who people trust. That's my point with Josh Rosen. I don't know what Josh Rosen is, and I can't put the blame all on him the same way I can't put the blame on Alex Smith, because he was in 7 different systems. 7. That is not easy. That's hard for any quarterback to switch year after year after year. Just when you think you're getting to know somebody, now next year you're completely changing again. And Alex Smith, let's just keep it all the way true. The roster was barren when he got there. There's a reason they had the number 1 pick. The roster was awful. Again, set up competent coaching, set up the correct roster, and you'll be in position to succeed. I want to see Josh Rosen get another shot just for that reason.
Yeah, fair play. But is that your 2nd or 3rd mimosa I just saw there, JC? You sort of brought on this. Good man.
I'm back to neutral.
I'm just wondering how many you got lined up there.
Oh no, I got a bottle of champagne right here. just hanging out. You know, it's early. You know, so I finished all my plays and everything. So we could just.
That's it. It's good. The fact that you sort of got the bottle of champagne there, celebrating the fact that the season's about to start.
A little bit of orange juice. It works easily.
See, I knew after last week, Jason, you get the culture of the shank.
Oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
I was so happy to come back. You know why? YouTube. Your banter on Twitter is just like, I love it. Like I think it's so funny. Like and I think that it's great that you guys have this sort of dynamic, and I think that's what really makes the show go, man. Like
we are polar opposites. You've got me that knows absolutely nothing about the game and new to it. Nick that's been around the block and knows everything, and it's just 2 completely different views. Pete, and the fact that we just crank each other up is great. I
give you credit too, man. Like you know a lot, man. Like don't downplay it.
I'm learning, and thanks to people like you. That's the reason I'm sort of loving this.
I don't know it all. Like I'm sure that there's things that I said as far as the defense goes that are probably wrong. Like I'm learning myself. Like the thing is that there's always room to grow. Nobody knows everything, and I'm always open to conversation about my takes and things like that. Like I just love talking ball. Like I'm not right. I just want to talk ball.
Love it. Let's. Should we talk about Thursday night football? The season getting started. I mean, I am buzzing.
Yeah,
I'm definitely going to be staying up for it, and I'm probably out of the 3 of us, probably the only one as well that is going for the Texans in this game, because I've said throughout the preseason that the Texans are my little sleeper team, and I'm just feeling it. First game of the season, I'm all in on the Texans.
I got the Chiefs, and I want the Chiefs to do well. You know why? I want them again. I want them shot one more time. I want them again. I think we can do it the next time.
You really are a sucker for punishment, man.
I am. You know what though? But I want to beat them because when I was in Miami, unfortunately the game's over, and the Chiefs fans, you would think that like there's this stigma of people in the Midwest, Missouri, that they're nicer people, easygoing. On the East Coast, we're jaded. Everybody's mean to everybody in New York, right? Get out of the way. You're in my way. I'm trying to move. I'm trying to walk. That's how we are up here. So there's a stigma of Midwest fans that they're nice. They're not nice. Kansas City Chiefs fans are not nice. As I'm walking down the street in Miami after this devastating loss with my 49ers jacket and hat, these guys are running up to me, yelling things in my face. And like, I don't get mad about sports because sports isn't something to be mad about. But I got frustrated with somebody and I told them, get out of my, like, why are you talking to me right now? It's rude. It's rude. Like, I wouldn't run up, like, if the 49ers did what the Chiefs did to them, I wouldn't run to a Chiefs fan and be like, oh, in your face. I would take my win and celebrate and be happy. No, you would, Nick. I can't, Nick. I can't.
Yeah.
Nick. I can't.
You know what, Jason? For real.
You would love it.
If the Niners, if I'd have been at that Super Bowl and the Niners would have won, I'd have been looking for a fight. Sorry.
No, Nick. Look, this is what I was looking for. We're in the same space, right? We're in the same space right here. Okay. So in Miami, how do I put this eloquently? One of the sights to see in Miami is their gentlemen's clubs. So that's what I was thinking.
Jason, you didn't. You didn't.
I did because I needed comfort. And the women.
Well, you definitely get some comfort in one of those places.
The women that were there, they saw the 49ers stuff. They were nice to me. They said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Come over here real quick. And I'm like, yeah, like, so it wasn't all bad. But that's what, and if the 49ers would have won, I would have been in there going crazy. That's what I would have been focused on, the celebration, not on the making fun of the other fans.
I'm pretty sure I know that gentleman's club, and I'm pretty sure the dancers were all Kansas girls, so they must have been loving beating you and then taking your money as well, Joe. So
they were really nice. And they said all the right things.
I think my ultimate bucket list for football is to go to the Clink. Or the Link,
no,
the Niners, Seattle, because I would love that.
Nick,
no, I've got to, that is one of my bucket list things.
Nick, can I tell you guys a story? And Nick, I'm sure you already know this. Okay, the Philadelphia Eagles fans. No offense to any individual Eagles fan who is not like this, are mean, the meanest. Let me give you some examples. Santa Claus was at the old Vet Stadium during the winter. There's snow on the ground. There's snow in the stands. The Eagles fans, as they put Santa Claus on the camera, make tons of snowballs and pelt the Santa Claus with snowballs. What did Santa Claus do to you? Now, one more story that is absolutely true. Sounds crazy, but it's absolutely true. The Eagles Stadium has a judge and a jail in the stadium.
Yep, that is very true.
Even on Sunday.
I've seen that.
Even on Sunday, there's no court, no sort of proceedings on the weekend. On Sunday, they have a judge on duty and they have a jail. That should let you know all you need to know about Philadelphia Eagles fans.
But it's the going up there and doing it. I'd love to go to the Revenge Tour is on, but I don't want to say it.
I don't think I could handle seeing Granddad's face, though, again, losing again. I mean, I don't think I could handle that. Seeing, it was bad enough you boys got put through it once. Why would you want to go through all that all again? I mean, watching the best tight end in the game, Travis Kelce, tear you guys up.
Seriously. I don't know what he's got. I don't know what he's got in that cup, but it isn't.
Oh, it's time to wind you boys up. Way, go on, boys.
Third or fourth mimosa now. Is it you?
Jason, admit the orange juice. Just nick the bottle, man, because he's.
Yeah, I'm about to just take the
paper, man.
That's gonna that statement is gonna send my whole day into a spiral right now. Like, I'm getting anything done now. Like, I'm just like it's gone now.
At the end of the day, these guys look at the rings on their fingers. So,
oh my god!
And
the other day on Twitter, I had to take some time away. Like, I couldn't look at it. I can't. It hurts too much. That's why I want them again. Like, I don't want to beat another team and say, oh, we got our championship. I want to play them again and beat them because we should have beat them.
I mean, this statement
That
here,
is
right?
a great comment. Right
Well, this
there.
is the funny thing. This week I was on with the Atlanta Falcons UK, and we sort of basically said who we felt was going to be in the Super Bowl.
You said the Steelers?
I was almost scared because just for some reason the moons are all aligning correctly this year, and I seriously think we could have a San Francisco Steelers final. And if that happens, I don't think either of us could handle it, and it would just be insane to think that if that happens, this could be the end of Shank Club NFL. But or it could also be the fact that we could possibly go global, because if we aired it and the pair of us were on, it would just be insane. But that was my shout for this year. I seriously think it's going to be the Niners and the Steelers down in Tampa.
It's not completely out of the question, but I want you to read that comment that's right there. Claire, Philly's the only stadium I've been to as an away fan, in parentheses, a woman traveling on her own, and security advised me to take all my Bears gear off for my safety. That's it right there. Nick, don't go to Philly, Nick, ever. Don't, please.
If the Nothing But Niners crew are going to be there, and I was planning to go this year, unfortunately, COVID thingy, I was going to go, hopefully, to the 2 games in New York.
So that's all right, Nick.
But I would go to Philly, no problem, just for a cheesesteak. And I'd probably end up in that jail and getting bailed.
Nick, I don't want you to do that. Like, here's the thing too about this. It sucks, right? Because we get to see the schedule. And I traveled last year. I went to Tampa for week 1. I went down for the Super Bowl. I went to Washington for the Redskins game. The schedule comes out week 1. They're in Santa Clara. Week 2 and 3, back-to-back weeks. They're playing in MetLife, which is no joke. 25 minutes from my house.
New Jersey.
Not the New York Giants, not the New York Jets, the New Jersey Giants and Jets. I would have been there for both those games. And it's frustrating because, COVID's taking that away. And unfortunately, New Jersey is one of the states that they won't allow any sort of gathering that big. Now, Thursday night, you will see fans in Kansas City.
How many are there happening? Is it something like 20,000 or something?
Right. It's going to be about an eighth of capacity. It's like 22,000 people will be socially distanced. Everybody has to wear masks. Do you guys want to talk about predictions for this game? Pete has the text.
Go for it.
Nick, what do you got? I'll let you go.
For revenge, I want Kansas City to lose, obviously. Do I think they're going to lose? No. I think they are going to stomp them by 20 points.
I think that the Chiefs win. I think this game's a lot closer than that, and I'm going to tell you why. I hate hearing about the Niners games in New York. Exactly, Nick Ludlam. Like, trust me. Imagine being a Niners fan here, and I would be able to go. Like, the Giants and Jets fans, they're 2 different fans. Get that Gators top off, lad. Go Dogs. We own the East. I love it. I love the banter. Here's the issue. Right?
This guy's obviously drinking mimosas as well.
Oh man, no, you are, because you said Kelsey is better than Kittle, which is still it's clearly still bothering me. Clearly,
obviously, as well,
the reason why I said it.
Peter's obviously washed up his dishcloths because he's got them hanging up in the background. Have you got some more wash? You got to wash some dishes and clean up with those jerseys.
That Juju jersey's fire, man. That's one of my guys. Like talk about fun guys in the league. Talk about fun guys to be like. Juju Smith-Schuster, George Kittle, fun guys that are really fun. Like,
and that's what we want to see, isn't it? Fun guys that aren't actually causing aggravation on the field and off the field, but just guys that are just having fun that we can go, yeah, this is why we love football.
I'm tired of
spoken like a true stoner.
I'm tired of millionaires acting like they're playing a game and this sucks for them. I'm tired of it.
Yeah,
tell me that you're having a blast making obscene amounts of money playing a game that I wish I was physical enough to play. Like, come on, like Juju Smith-Schuster, I met him in Miami. Because when you're down there, everybody's down there for the Super Bowl. So I'm eating lunch and I look back. Yes, for sure, City Boy. I look back.
The fact I've railed you all up is great.
He's having lunch right over my shoulder. And I don't want to be the guy who runs up on him while he's eating lunch. I wait for him to leave. And like when he gets up, I was like, Juju, I was like, real quick. I was like, I just wanted to touch you real fast. I think you're a great player. He sat and he talked with me. Like, and I met Ocho Cinco and a bunch of guys like down there. And they're all like the celebration for the Super Bowl is unmatched because the football world is there. Is all there. And it's a blast. And it's going to be in Florida again, in Tampa. Hopefully this time the 49ers are in it again. And this time they walk away with the trophy.
Yeah, possibly. I still think it's going to be Steelers Niners in the Super Bowl, which would just be class. Well, I'll tell you what, different opinion here, obviously, Jace, because Steelers are a completely different kettle of fish to the Kansas City Chiefs. So, and obviously we've already seen the game and how close it was last year, and maybe sort of two teams not doing great. Kansas did have a massive comeback, and to be, they were a great team. But do you sort of think seeing a Super Bowl, the Steelers and the Niners could be completely different? As in, we haven't got a lively quarterback running around. Would that suit you, or would it suit us?
It always suits the 49ers if you want to be a pocket quarterback. Always. That's what the 49ers want. The 49ers struggle with mobile quarterbacks. If you look at last year, Russell Wilson 2 times gives us always the most problems. Kyler Murray 2 times. This is what makes me afraid. Nick hit it right on the Nick hit it right on the head. Right on the head. How the Rams feasibly could finish last. I am so scared of Arizona and mobile quarterbacks. Kyler Murray is a baller. I'm just going to make sure I go out here and say it. I really believe in the kid. He can run, but what he can do is throw the ball wherever he wants to. The kid has a cannon. The kid can throw it outside the numbers, inside the numbers, on the run. He can do it all. The 49ers are definitely afraid of the Cardinals because, one, they have a quarterback who's really good. They're paying him nothing. And they can always load up every year on salary cap because they're not paying their franchise quarterback anything. The Rams are on the downside because of all of their salary cap issues, and that offensive line is brutal. And I could definitely be finishing last. The Cardinals are going to take a step up, and the Seahawks, as usual, are going to be our thorn in the side. The 49ers struggle with all mobile quarterbacks. As Nick talked about, Jared Goff, that one game that he actually did well was because he was rolling out on us all day. Lamar Jackson, we lost to the Ravens because he can run. Every year, every game, Kyler Murray, we played them to the last moments. The same thing with Russell Wilson. If you're going to sit in the pocket, Ben Roethlisberger, Godspeed. But Ben Roethlisberger has a great offensive line also, for sure. I want to make sure that we talk about that as well. Yes,
a little bit concerned. Obviously, DeCastro's currently possibly injured, and we're still testing out our right tackle position. But hopefully, it's going to be all right. You know what? I just really hope that I get to just punch you in the face when the Steelers get to the Super Bowl.
Man, I'm telling you now, and you can book it. The Steelers are getting nowhere near the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Nick, they make the playoffs. They make the playoffs this year.
There you go. See, look, he's talking crap, and they've actually kicked him off of StreamYard because. But that's an interesting question down below. An injury away, everything changes, and we had that, and then you guys had that when Garoppolo went down with that nasty injury. There's so many teams in the division. Your QB1 goes down, you are screwed, but that is the same for most teams, and it's a tragic thing. So it just shows how important it is to have a QB that just is lights out, that can do things. Because unfortunately, like I say, most teams, the QB1 goes down, we're all screwed. We've been there, you've been there, it sucks.
That's pretty much any team.
You say that.
Any team.
Sorry, Jason.
Yeah, you
say that, but did we not have a bet a couple of years ago that the Niners wouldn't win 6 games? And they were awful. And then all of a sudden, Nick Mullins came in and we won 6 games. So don't give me this backup quarterback.
Well, wasn't this the last, like you went 5 games in a row at the end of the season?
Who had to hand over all the dollar? Who had to hand over all the dollar?
Killed me.
Yeah, Jimmy had 5 when he came in, when he finally started playing. And then Nick Mullins was fine. He's capable. But if Nick Mullins goes down, if Jimmy Garoppolo goes down, the 49ers are not making the Super Bowl. That's it. Sorry.
I'm not saying no. I'm not. But I'm not saying that, Jason. But what
Yeah.
my point is, we were in the same position as the Steelers, and I don't think Nick Mullins is. I think Nick Mullins is probably on par with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Duck Hodges. At that point in the season, he was unproven. He hadn't done anything.
Right.
Nick Mullins came in, and all of a sudden, we lost games, but we were within 3 points of a lot of teams, and we still won games. Whereas, you know, if Big Ben goes down,
it's over.
Seriously, it's forget it. You know, 8-8 isn't even a reality for this team.
But you say that we've now, you know, end of the day, you know, Mason wasn't looking too bad come the end of the season, and he's had another season. You know, you've gone 8-8, and you're forgetting as well that the first two games he didn't lose.
Yes.
You know, Big Ben lost them 2 games. So, and then all of a sudden he comes in. But you know, Duck Hodges obviously sort of played a few games for him as well. But you know, even I don't want to say it, but even if Big Ben gets injured again and Mason comes in, you're looking at our schedule. There's still no reason. You know, even with Mason, if he started Mason, I would still say we're going to the playoffs this season.
Here's the thing. And Callie Young, yes, we are doing Niners all day after the cut down today too as well. We are. I think we have Grant Cohn jumping on with us today too.
Before you go on, Jason, big shout out obviously to Bronze and to Dre. They are my guys, and I know they know you're coming on here, and obviously they let you cut, and I appreciate them. So yeah, shout out to those.
Yeah, those are my guys, and we'll have Grant Cohen on, who's the beat reporter for Sports Illustrated on with us today, and we're gonna I wrote an article. I wrote an article on 49ers website about what I thought for the wide receivers.
Go on, Jace, keep going.
Okay. So I wrote an article on 49ers web zone about who I thought would make the team for the wide receivers, my predictions. So if you got to check my Twitter timeline, you can check that out if you want to see how wrong I was and things like that. But my point about Mullins is this, Nick. So I think that Nick Mullins is a capable backup, but I want to make sure that I say this. I think that Nick Mullins is the perfect backup for us. Okay. Now, if you switch Nick Mullins and Mason Rudolph, right, we wouldn't be nearly as successful, and neither would the Steelers. I don't think Nick Mullins fits what the Steelers want to do offensively, because in Kyle Shanahan's offense, you have to be sort of a point guard like in basketball, right? Like in basketball, what a point guard does is he's just getting the ball to somebody else who can score. Like you have to be quick, make quick decisions, get the ball out. That's what Nick Mullins runs well with the Shanahan offense. Not certain that he could run the Steelers one. So when I say that Nick Mullins is a capable backup, I mean that he's a capable backup for our situation.
Yeah.
He's not set up to be a backup for anybody.
And that's exactly what you were saying earlier on, Jace. It's having a QB working into a system. And that's the most important thing. Having the right QB in the right system makes such a difference. Like what you were saying, you know, we want maybe sort of see Rosen have the luxury of doing it. Alex Smith didn't have that luxury. So what you're saying there, they don't have to be the greatest player, but if that system works for them, then that's all that matters.
That's what really matters. It's not the best player, it's the best fit. Again, we can mash Odell Beckham and mash all these guys onto a roster, but they don't fit because they're not in the right spot. But a guy who isn't as talented as other guys fits and understands his role and knows his job. That's more important than having the more talented player, in my eyes.
As in Raheem Mostert in the backfield for the Niners.
Correct. Raheem Mostert was on 5 different teams before he scored 15 touchdowns last year. That is someone who identifies a player who fits their system and is able to utilize him in a way that puts him in a position to succeed. I wish more coaches understood this.
Yeah.
See, that's why I think, and I'm being a homer now.
No, we're both homers.
Through the draft of the Niners, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every player they have picked in this draft fits this system.
Correct. Nick had it right there.
And that's a big advantage for us.
For sure.
I think we're going to have to apologise for his internet, because I think his internet is as old as he is.
Stashed on the going to be stashed, or whether they
P.
I'm
to be
still
fair
going to
enough,
kick your ass because I'm
Yeah,
good, baby.
You right.
man, the fact that you've been kicked into the garage, your internet is shocking. I mean, where are you going to be now? You're going to be down the road. Is the internet signal going to be all right when you're sort of kicked further down the road, or we're going to have to get you an actual proper studio? Because
do you know what? I'm going to have
This
to
is a
come
joke.
over to your place to do a show, and then I can punch you in the face, strangle you,
Sorry,
kick
mate,
you
we,
in the nuts when you talk. You're
we
gone.
don't let riff raff like you around our place, mate. I'm telling you.
I'll join Saturday with you if you guys promise to be in the same room together. Yeah, I'll do it for sure. We'll go through every week one game and pick our winners and all that stuff. I'll do that with you if you guys link up and hang out.
We'd have to do something together at some point, that's for sure. I mean, I don't think the first game of the season is probably going to be the best weekend to do it on, but at some point.
No. Well,
I would do it if we were playing each other. I would do it, but I know he wouldn't do it.
Right. I went off on a tangent.
Honestly, it would make
the Texans and Chiefs.
It would make a great show, me and Pete being together.
For sure. You guys
but
should stream yourself.
There'd be headlocks, there'd be wedgies, there'd be
here's an idea.
We couldn't do it.
You guys hang out to watch the Steelers game, even if they're not playing the 49ers, and you guys hang out to watch the 49ers game, even if they're not playing the Steelers. Like, and just
that would be funny.
Just run a show off of that, because Nick is gonna have his jokes about the Steelers, but his team's not involved, so he gets to kick back. And then the same thing happens with you. If the 49ers are playing someone else, you get to sit there and just make all the jokes you want because your Steelers are not involved. So I think that's going to be an incredible show, and I would tune into that easily.
I think we'll definitely sort something out.
We've got to work something out, but I don't know whether. See, Pete likes Red Zone, and I'd throttle him just.
But I only like Red Zone when the Steelers aren't playing. If the Steelers are playing, I wouldn't dare watch Red Zone. I'll be watching the Steelers. But for me, because that is my
zone.
Yeah. When the Steelers aren't playing at 6:00, but I wouldn't dare not watch the Steelers. But because I'm not that interested in most of the other teams, I would watch Red Zone to purposely try and get more knowledge of all the other teams rather than just one. But no, I would never miss a Steelers game.
So for me, guys, I love football on this level of just breaking down X's and O's, but my passion, my love is fantasy football. Like, I have a fantasy football podcast that I do every week. I love fantasy. And
you're going to need to get us involved, Jace, because neither of us have got involved.
Please, you know what? I'll make a league, and us three will be in it, and I'll make it simple. And if you want to have your viewers join.
Well, there's one reason why I've never got involved in fantasy football, and it's because when they did it when it first started over here for English soccer, it ruined it for me. It was great to be involved, but then all of a sudden you start looking at players and other teams that you would never normally look at, and you're looking outside of what you really love. And that's what took the whole thing away from me, and that's why I've been reluctant to do it in NFL, because I don't want to be looking at certain players and getting certain results for certain teams, because I just want to be all in on the Steelers.
Like, you have Lamar Jackson on your team and he's playing the Steelers and you're rooting for him to score touchdowns against your team. I get that part.
But how could you do that? How could you do that? I mean, that's just like the ultimate no-no.
I'll tell you this. What fantasy football has done for me and my knowledge of the game, I have to give a lot of credit to that.
Yeah,
that really got me into watching film and watching other players. And I respect, and I had to learn rosters, right? Because in fantasy football, you have to know the guy, you have to know the guy behind him, you have to know the guy behind him, just in case that guy gets injured. You want to make sure you're picking up the right player. So it opened my eyes up to other teams, and it opened my eyes up to other schemes. So fantasy football, in a way, I understand exactly what you're saying about rooting against your team, because it happens. In dynasty leagues, I have Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's going to play the 49ers twice a year, every year. But you kind of understand that, and you want Kyler Murray to go off for 4 touchdowns, but the 49ers win. That's it. Like, that's how you look at it. Go off, score me all my points, but my team wins. That's it.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. I mean, it's like putting a bet against the other team. So basically, if your team loses, at least you win the bet. So
I'd be down to start a fantasy football league with you guys, just to get it going, like with your own viewers and on a beginner level. Like, if you guys want to do a show where we kind of talk about how you should be looking at the draft, things like that. I'm fine doing that with you guys, and I would love it. It makes it more fun, I think.
Yeah.
And it'll get you, if you're watching Red Zone, it'll get you more interested in that because it only cuts to the touchdowns, and you'll either the guy that you're playing is scoring or the guy that is on your team is scoring, and it just makes football that much more enjoyable. So my setup on Sunday is the big TV has the 49er game, my little TV has Red Zone the entire day, and and I'm able to
at this end anyway.
Yeah, unfortunately, you are back, Nick. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's going on.
I do.
But yeah, I mean, I'm happy. Mate, I think next year, maybe me and Nick might take the plunge and do NFL fantasy. The fact that we've got you there as well, there does seem to be people that sort of maybe want to get involved with us. So I think, Nick, what do you reckon? If you're there, mate, do you reckon we should get involved with fantasy next year?
Let's go, Nick. You can't draft all 49ers either.
Possibly.
Why would you want to?
Possibly.
Well, why would you want to?
I'd see
offense there to be happy.
the thing.
Nick's having a nightmare. I'll tell you what Nick's doing. Nick is having a San Francisco fourth quarter Super Bowl mare up. That is what he's doing.
All right, leave studio is the button here. Why?
I'm sorry. You don't. I mean, this is kind of like the Kansas guys coming in your face in Miami. You don't like it, Jace, do you?
No, it's fine.
You're one of the good guys. You don't like it.
Honestly, it's fine. I've dealt with it. I've watched the game. I've set it, forget it, and now I'm past it at this point. Nick, I'm sorry. You kind of cut out there. So I think he was asking you if you wanted to do the fantasy league.
Yeah, I'm having real
another 50p in the electric meter, Nick.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, the thing I don't get with fantasy football and the drafts and stuff is why quarterbacks, even Mahomes and that, are going in.
I know exactly what he's going to say.
Yeah, he's basically sort of saying that they don't get the points like they're running. Yeah,
quarterbacks. In single quarterback leagues, your strategy should be to wait on your quarterback. But I found a way around that because quarterback is the most important position in NFL football.
Third rank.
Why shouldn't it be in fantasy football?
Yeah.
What I play in a lot of leagues is super flex, where you have to start two quarterbacks. You good now, Nick?
Right. I've now come out of the bunker and into the garden. Look at this
guy out there.
Oh, look at that. He's going on taller. Look at him. He's going for a walk around.
Spin around too fast. I might fall over.
It's like a music video.
No, so with fantasy football, and I think what Nick was about to say is quarterbacks aren't valued at the way that they should be like NFL football is. But the way around that is you play super flex, which is two quarterbacks. You have to start two, right? So in a super flex league, the first pick usually of those leagues is Patrick Mahomes. And then, you build your roster around those quarterbacks. So that's why I prefer super flex leagues is because quarterbacks are important and it should be treated as such.
So Claire is exactly with me. It is a slippery road to travel down, but that might be as in it's so amazing you get addicted, or it's don't get involved because it changes your aspect.
Guys, real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 35 leagues I'm in. 35.
You need to get out more, Jason. Seriously.
No.
I mean, is there different types of fantasy though, Jace? Is there one game or are there all different style games?
That's the beauty of fantasy, right? You can do a single quarterback league. You could do a super flex league. You can do an IDP league. If you know more about defense and you're able to pick defensive players, you can do that. Like this, fantasy is a beautiful thing because you can change it to whatever it is that you feel comfortable with and whatever you find most fun. And that's what I find is the more fun about it. Like my two quarterback league that I did on my home league draft yesterday, my two quarterbacks are Ben Roethlisberger and Jared Goff. I feel fine. I feel great. I feel happy. You know why?
So you should.
But here's the thing. This is the difference between reality football and fantasy football, right?
Here it comes.
You can be good at reality football and bad at fantasy. And you can be bad in real football, but great for fantasy, right? Yeah. All that matters is if you're throwing the ball, right? If Ben Roethlisberger throws the ball 600 times for 5,000 yards, regardless if it's pretty, that you're just looking for stats. That's it. That's all that matters. You're looking for the stats. And that's when you find the gems. and you find guys like when guys
So-
say, "Oh, he's
so-
not because he's not good at fantasy." No, there's plenty of football players that are amazing at what they do, but are not fantasy football startable. Like it's just there's no.
So you've chosen Big Ben to be your QB in your fantasy. He's not going to be throwing the ball as much, man. Yes, they're going to be taking it easy on him.
He is. And even if he does, let's say he throws the ball 550 times. Let's say he throws it 500 times because he threw it 600 times 2 years ago. Let's say he throws it 500 times. There's still enough there with the pieces: Juju, Deontay Johnson, James Washington, James Conner, Eric Ebron, Chase Claypool. There's enough there for him to produce for you. So even if he takes a dip in pass attempts, he's going to be fine. Trust me.
And who's the other QB you got, Jace?
Now look.
So if you've got Jared Goff, all you got to do is you got to grab the headset for Sean McVay and just keep telling him to throw it because that's all he listens to normally, right?
So the second quarterback, here's the other thing: the second quarterback doesn't have to be this stud. Like if you want to, like, there's no way that you're going to get Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. No way. It just doesn't happen. You're not. That's not how the draft shakes out, right? What you need from your second quarterback is just a floor, and what I mean by that is, can I count on you for 17 points? That's it. I'm not that, and 17 points adds up pretty quick, even in bad games. So there's a lot to discuss. We could talk about this all day, but if you guys are interested in doing that, I would love to come on here, talk with you guys, give you some basics. Maybe we'll run through like a mock draft so you guys can sort of see how things move, and then I can explain why, certain guys go in certain places. I would be happy to do that with you guys because I think it would be a blast with you guys.
Cheers, brother.
All I can say, if you've got those two quarterbacks, are you known as Jason Chokes 1 and Jason Chokes 2?
You know why? You know why I'm good? You know why I'm fine? I'm going to tell you, Nick. I'm going to give you a little bit of fantasy football advice here. My quarterbacks I waited on. The reason that I waited on them is because I loaded up on all the other positions. Do you know who my starting tight end is, Nick?
Well, it wouldn't be the greatest tight end in football at the moment, obviously.
Oh, it would be. It definitely would be.
See, this is what I'm saying.
You mean you've got Travis Kelce on your roster? Man, that's shocking.
No, I've got George Kittle, Devontae Adams, Kenyon Drake, Derrick Henry, DJ Moore, those two quarterbacks, Philly's defense. Like I have a very stacked team. I have a very stacked team because again, when you focus on the other quarterbacks, the other positions, it gives you a positional advantage past what the quarterbacks are. If you want to run quarterbacks, that's fine. I have a top 1-2 receiver and I have a top 1-2 tight end. I'm good. I'm fine.
I got a question here, Jason, that you might want to answer.
I'm nervous as hell about my fantasy draft tonight, picking fourth in a 10-team league. And Blood M84, it depends on your format. If it's PPR, the first four draft picks will go like this in some order. Guaranteed. Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Ezekiel Elliott, Alvin Kamara. You're going to get one of those four guys to start your draft, and that's a damn good place to start.
So it's not the quarterback then in fantasy that's the be-all and end-all. It's the pieces around them.
For sure. And, in two quarterback leagues, it forces people to be a little bit more quarterback happy. I was thinking Dalvin Cook. Here's my issue with Dalvin Cook. He still hasn't signed a contract. He's he comes with a lot of risk, right? Those first four guys that I mentioned are locked into their roles. Like, set it and forget it. Saquon Barkley, Ezekiel Elliott's a baller. You already know what Christian McCaffrey is. Alvin Kamara, this is a crazy stat for Alvin Kamara, and I'm going off on a tangent again, guys. You got to reel me in. Don't let me, get all crazy here. Alvin Kamara, 4 years in the league. Do you know how many catches he's had every year that he's been in the league? It's the same. It's the same number, 81. Every single year, he's had 81 catches. That, in PPR leagues, is as safe as it gets. And he played injured all last year. They are a good offense. Alvin Kamara is your pick at 4. If he's there, you should be good with him. I would choose him right now, even though he doesn't have a contract either. It sounds like they're a little bit closer to that. And I know for a fact he's not going to hold out because if you guys know the CBA rules, if you hold out, it's $45,000 that the team cannot waive per day. The team can't waive that if you want to hold out. That's why nobody's holding out.
Yeah, I think we'll probably have to do a fantasy show with you, Jace, and then basically giving a little bit of advice to sort of people doing it in the UK that are maybe doing it for the first time or something, because it sounds like you've got some great advice to give.
Look, Nick, Pete, I love you guys. I'll do whatever it is that you guys want me to do, and I will do that. And also, if you guys want to, like, I don't want to plug my own show, but I have my own podcast where I talk about this stuff all the time. So if you guys want to check it out, and you're
Jason, just
Shout it out.
tell
Shout
us
it out.
where you are. Tell us where you are, where you write. Tell us.
my podcast is called the Fantasy Bros Before Pros podcast. Basically, it started with me and 3 of my friends who were into fantasy football. We sat around drinking and we just like to talk football. That's what it turned into. But it wound up turning into something that people really enjoy. They enjoy our banter and the way that we talk and the information we give. It's just another way to give information. It's just another way to be tapped into the other teams in the league. Like, I know so much about other teams in the league because of fantasy football. And the other thing is that fantasy football clues you into defenses, right? So if I have a guy who's playing the Steelers this week, right, I might have a little bit of pause to play him because the defense is so good, right? Like, I might have to look somewhere else where a better matchup is. That's sort of the things that you get into when it comes to fantasy, is you become more adept into learning all the other teams and learning their schemes, learning who's their best corners. Like, it's opened my eyes to the film, and it opened my eyes to so much more, honestly. Fantasy football is here, and it's a good thing, I think.
Cool. What do you reckon, Nick? Should we wrap things up, seeing as your internet's been pretty poor today? I mean, it's been great, obviously, seeing the defense breakdown. Highlight for me was obviously I could watch Minka get that interception so many more times. It's one of my favorite plays of the season, believe it or not, guys, was that. So
I'll be honest with you, Nick. Nick, I don't mean to out you here because you're my guy too, and we talk a lot.
He knows that I set you up.
So right,
he's being put in a clown suit.
DM saying, can we get some Dick Butkus and can we get Kyle Juszczyk flipping Minka Fitzpatrick?
See, the thing was, I've got some jerseys coming for Pete because I love him so much.
Wow.
And I was hoping the jerseys would have come Friday, so he would have put the Minka one on to be all, oh, this is brilliant, I'm going to wear this, and then watch him get his ass kicked by Kyle. But unfortunately, best laid plans didn't work. But that was the ruse of putting that clip in there. But unfortunately, Jason, it's fine because he's got a really nice throwback William Gay Bumblebee horrible jersey.
Well, I've already got the one there. No, apparently he's got me the one that we retired a little while ago, the awful rugby style jersey, which I detest.
And stripes. Oh, that's brutal.
Oh,
yeah,
it's not good.
Honestly, it's like a lot of convicts taking the field, but obviously, unless you've got money, you can get out of being a convict, Ben Roethlisberger. Oh dear, I said it again. Sorry.
End this out. What do you think, Nick? Look, we're close enough. The season's about to start on Thursday, right? You guys aren't doing the show until next week, right?
Next Saturday.
Okay.
I can't wait.
Okay. Let's do predictions for our team. And I want to start with Pete.
Well, for this season?
For this season, tell me what your record is going to look like.
Yeah, already good to go. I'm believing we're going to be 10-6.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's 10-6. On a pretty bad season. I seriously think we'll be 10-6, and I think we'll be second in the division. I think the Ravens will be 13-3. I think the Browns will be 7-9, and I think the Bengals are going to be 2-14, possibly 3-13. And I did this the other night. I looked at the breakdown. I seriously think that's going to be where we're at. But I don't think 10-6 we'll be going to the playoffs, going in hot. I'm still backing us.
That's fair. And 10-6 sounds fair. I have you guys pegged at 11-5. When I look through your schedule and I look through it, you guys get to get the NFC East this year. I think that you guys win all those games against Dallas, against Philly, against the Giants. I think you guys win all.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about the Dallas game. That was the one that sort of put me. But I still think there's maybe a couple more we could we could go bigger. But I just think realistically, it's 10-6. If we have a good season, it could be much more. But I'm being realistically having a mediocre season. I still think we should be going 10-6.
But 10-6 isn't a mediocre season, especially in the year that they added another wild card spot, which basically assures you a playoff spot. As if you make the playoffs, that's not a mediocre season. A mediocre season is 8-8, and ask the Dallas Cowboys all about that. Sorry, I had to make sure I got to dig in on them because Nick, Tell me what the 49ers are doing this year. Let's go. I want you to be like full homer, like go all the way with
Well,
it.
of course, Jason, I could not be anything other than a homer. We are going to win the division. We're going 13-3.
Woo!
We're going to win the Super Bowl.
Woo!
And if we play Pete's Steelers, we are going to absolutely kick the bleep out of them. And it will be a 30-point spread in the Super Bowl if we play the Steelers. Because I'm telling you now, this defense will kill Ben Roethlisberger. He will be forgotten about. He will retire at the end of the season.
I would love nothing. I would love
big
nothing
loss.
more to see Big Ben wipe that stupid smile off your face.
No chance.
I am absolutely rooting now. Like as much as I want to see the Chiefs, I am absolutely rooting for this now. I need a Steelers 49ers Super Bowl.
I know, right? I know.
God, I don't think I could handle it. But do you know what? If it happens,
And go on.
then
City Boy, I'm with you, man. 12-4 is what I've got them at. 12-4.
If the Niners play,
just out of interest, Jace, what are you putting Seattle at?
11-5. And the last game of the season, as usual, is going to decide who wins the division.
They were great games, both of them last year. They were great games.
They are for outside viewers. For 49ers fans, I get this pit of anxiety in my stomach knowing it's Seattle week. Like every single time.
Yeah, Granddad says the same. You can tell when they're playing Seattle at work because he's a different person.
So
Pete knows me. It's like our soccer team has a derby or revenge match, whatever you want to call it, against a team called Crystal Palace, and Brighton is my team. And when they play in the EPL, in the Premier League, I get sick. I feel it ruins my day. But if they come through and win, then obviously I'm happy. And those two games, I mean, we should have beat Seattle twice. Unfortunately, the rookie kicker killed someone in the tunnel, which was a shame.
Yeah, you say that. Seattle could have won both games as well.
But Russell, so here's the thing. The reason that Seattle scares me every time that we play them, one reason only.
Number 3.
Russell Wilson is the best. Let me look into the camera. The best quarterback in football. Here's why. He does more with less. They've had a shit offensive line every year that he's been in the league. Every year. Never once has he had an offensive line. Right? When the defense went away, remember when people used to say Russell Wilson is carried by the defense? Well, the defense went away. And he still is taking them to the playoffs every year.
Yeah.
Here's what scares me about Seattle. Imagine if their offensive coordinator didn't want to put football back in the Stone Ages and run the ball on first and second down every single time instead of putting the ball in Russell Wilson's hands and letting him work. If there's ever a day where they let Russell Wilson run this offense and run free, God help us all, and God help the 49er fans. Sorry. DK Metcalf falling to Seattle is going to be one of the biggest draft discussions we're going to have for the rest of our time on this earth. We're going to look back on this draft and say, how in the hell did all of these teams let DK Metcalf slip to the second round to the Seattle Seahawks? It makes zero sense. Russell Wilson is the best quarterback in football because he does more with less, and he's completely limited in this offense. If he was with Pete Carroll, they would have a claim at being undefeated every year. I'm sorry, man. Russell Wilson is that good, and that's the reason I get scared of Seattle.
I hate Russell Wilson.
I hate him because he's good.
He is a cornball.
He is a cornball.
Oh, Jesus. He
is.
Oh, he does. But you cannot. You just marvel of what he does on the field.
That's Mr. Unlimited right there. I mean, don't knock Mr. Unlimited.
Don't even start me on that.
Well, that's true, though, Nick.
Mr. Unlimited.
He is corny.
Brilliant.
On the field, it's a joy to watch him. He has the best deep ball in this league. Let me say that too. What I mean by the best deep ball in this league is the most catchable, right? You can toss it. Josh Allen can toss it out of the stadium. That doesn't mean you're able to catch it. Russell Wilson can throw it, and it's such a beautiful ball, and he allows his receivers to make plays on it. The only reason I know Russell Wilson as well is because he's a thorn in our side, and he's not going anywhere. When Russell Wilson says he wants to play till he's 45, I believe him. I believe him. I believe
even if he's Mr. Unlimited.
He's never missed a game. He doesn't take hits. When he runs, he slides. Imagine if Russell Wilson ran. Imagine if he actually ran. That's another wrinkle that they refuse to unlock in Seattle. I hate to give them the keys. But
and is there another Russell Wilson in the division now as well with Kyler Murray? So
gracious, we are in trouble, man. Like we have to win a Super Bowl now because Seattle's coming, the Cardinals are coming. This division is going to be the best division in football this season, hands down for me. There's going to be 3 teams in there that are going to be great.
It's going to be the hardest, definitely. And you know what? The thing that really frustrates me about watching Russell Wilson against anybody, I sit there and I'm like, get that little fucker. Get him. And all of a sudden you've got him and he throws it and it's like first down and you're like, you little shit.
And that's exactly. And the worst part is this, right? Both those games that we played with Seattle, right? We're winning by a considerable margin.
Yeah.
But it never feels over because of Russell Wilson. Like that first game, George Kittle didn't play. We lost Emmanuel Sanders in the first quarter, and we were still up 13-0, right? 13-0 in that game. Jadeveon Clowney blows that game up. Turnover here, turnover there. Russell Wilson starts to get hot. Boom, you got yourself a game right there where it goes to overtime. And Russell Wilson almost made the most egregious error in that game. If Chase McLaughlin hits his kick and we win that game, that interception in the red zone is damning of Russell Wilson. Damning. But nobody remembers that because they won the game. That's the difference.
Joyce, do you know how satisfying it is walking into work 5 minutes early before Nick gets into work and changing his screensaver on his computer to Russell Wilson after they've beaten? It's the most satisfying thing that I get to do every year. It's great. And for as long as Russell Wilson's there, I will have that privilege to be able to put that screensaver on all the time.
I have a question. Because I know I get testy with football. Stuff like that, that's mean. It's very mean. You guys have never really.
That's what friends are for, Jace.
Yeah, for sure, right? Like your best friends are.
Jason, you don't see what we get to put on his computer, and he complained that someone might see his search history.
Nick, you've got to send Jason the video of me coming in one morning and thinking that Microsoft has screwed up my computer, because that was an absolute punked moment that I'll never forget.
I will find his Instagram post and I'll send it to you, because it is. You'll be like, I can't believe you mother suckers get away with that.
Also shows my naivety and my stupidity when it comes to technology. Thinking that
to be honest, he's known as Bill Gates at work because he has no clue on computers. And that was the ultimate.
This is my question. Has there ever been a time, alcohol is involved? This is the thing about football fans, right? Here's the thing, and this is why the game is so testy and why you see people fight. The game is centered about what, right? You show up hours earlier to get hammered before the game starts, right? Alcohol is involved. It is the most physical sport in America, because not all around the world. Just saying in America, right? Most physical, aggressive sport. People get into fights all the time because when you involve alcohol, adrenaline, team, the tribal thought process of your team, fights happen. Have you guys ever gotten to a point where you guys have kind of gotten a little bit more heated or you guys just keep it light the entire time?
I don't think we would ever come to blows because we fight verbally.
Hey,
and that's the best way to do it.
Good.
Nick's
not there. Nick?
Go on, say again, mate.
I was going to say, tell him the story of the plastic sword, the Frank Gore game ball, and you on the underground, because they are classic stories.
Before we go, because I know everyone's going to want to leave, it's 2:15, and I know Jace got a young kid to get back to. But
you hear her screaming in the background, right?
There was one season, I think it was the first game we went to see the Niners. We caught the match ball, took it home. We've been drinking all day. And Nick is getting so leery because he's got the match ball. He's showing everybody it's great. And we're walking down what's called Wembley Way at Wembley Stadium. It's a big walkway back to the underground. And he's got the football in a carrier bag. And he's decided to swing it like a ball and chain. And he's hit me square in the top of the head with the point of the ball and basically gave me concussion.
What?
And he's laughing his tits off. Thinking it's the most hilarious thing ever.
Pussy.
So
it was not that hard.
I mean, he was lovely. And then we've managed to then get onto the underground, and I'm wedged in. It's the same with the subway in New York. I'm wedged in, but there's me being the honourable person. I'm wedged in up against the door, and people need to get out. They need to get off the train. So it stopped. I've done the gentlemanly thing. I've got off, waited for everyone to get off, and in my stupidity, a load of other people ran on. I then get left at the platform, and do you know what he does at the window?
Bye.
He sticks his finger up at me and laughs his head off. And that's the sort of friendship we've got. And we might lose each other for a couple of. But that first game, I lost him for 2 hours outside, 80,000 fans. He's got my ticket. I'm drunk. I'm trying to call him, saying, where are you? Because we're here. I was like minutes from going home, and somehow within 80,000 people, I've found him. And he thought it was hilarious. When I said, where have you been? He said, I've just been talking. I said, but you've got my ticket. He's like, yeah, well, I've been phoning you. Yeah, I know you have been. And I said, what? You didn't want to pick up the phone and sort of tell me where you were. But that's just the sort of friendship we've got. It's we would never, ever sort of.
And I also say, when I caught the touchdown ball from Frank Gore, I actually rose like Antonio Brown into the crowd and caught the ball. Even Pete was impressed.
The whole stadium shuddered when he came down, Jason.
It's true. And it took me about 5 weeks to come down, and I pulled a.
He was out of breath. He had to take a 10-minute breather just from catching that one ball. It was just.
No, I had to go and get a couple of rounds of beers that you didn't want to drink because you'd had too much. But anyway,
Jace, thanks very much for your time, buddy.
No, thank you guys again. Yeah, I'm always honored to jump on here with you guys. I have a blast. Like I said, I enjoy the content. I enjoy interacting with you guys on Twitter. I enjoy the platform that you've allowed me to use, and has brought in my content to other people. And I have to thank you guys for that.
I'm glad you're rolling with the Jason Mimosa nickname as well. Good
this
man.
Is number 5, I believe. Today's day.
Jason, we're getting you into bad habits. You need to come on in.
No, you're not getting me into bad habits. You're just accentuating the bad habits I already had, especially at 9:30 in the morning. But guys, I'm going to have all day today too. I'm going to be a little bit more sober, I think, hopefully later on today. Have a great day. Cutdowns are happening. Lamar Miller just got cut from the Patriots. Cutdowns are happening as we speak. So this is to get off with you guys.
There's lots going on.
The content doesn't stop. Today, every team has to get down to 53. There's going to be prize cuts everywhere, and there's going to be plenty of people out there that other teams should be interested in. Yeah. This is going to be an amazing weekend, and Thursday, we finally get back to football.
Yeah.
One thing I need to say about the cuts.
We hope in our body,
Kyle Garrett, 47,
yes. Let's
Tennessee Titans. Please make this. Please make that roster, because that even the practice squad. That will be amazing.
Who?
Kyle Garrett, number 47, linebacker. He's at the Tennessee Titans. He was the defensive captain at Missouri last year, but unfortunately got an injury which cut his season short. But the guy was looking good.
You guys educating me. What are you guys talking about?
He came over. Unfortunately, I haven't got the pictures on on my PC. He came over spring break last year. Spent the weekend with me and Pete in London, getting completely trashed in true Shank Club style. He was so humble. He talked about football. He hung out. We went to Buckingham Palace. We went everywhere. And trust me, I really, really want him to make this roster.
Good.
Even practice squad, man. He was, in fact, I think even before he got injured, he was on pace to break every Mizzou defensive record.
Wow.
He had 2 pick sixes.
Back-to-back defensive player of the week, and this is in the SEC. So
wow, that's incredible. See, and it's funny because you know, and I'll leave you guys with this on my last fantasy podcast. I welcome somebody from 8 days to kickoff. Let's go, man. This is it, man. I'm so excited, man.
That's for life. Let's go.
Go. The thing is I was on my podcast and I had someone from the Chicago area jump on, and he told me that Mitchell Trubisky was going to be the starter 4 days ago. Like, he told me that. And he also told me a story of right now with everything that's happened with Leonard Fournette in their backfield. You know, right now that leaves 3 guys in it to handle the load, right? So Raquel Armstead, Chris Thompson, Devin Azigbo, and a gentleman named James Robinson, right? That everybody's kind of excited about. Raquel Armstead just got put on the COVID list again. This is the second time on the COVID list. He was on the COVID list.
How does that happen, Jason?
I don't know. Now, being on the COVID list doesn't mean that you necessarily tested positive. Like, there's a lot to unwrap there. Like, it's either you've tested positive, which they can't confirm or deny because there's labor laws, and the labor laws apply to the NFL. Or you've been in contact closely when they do contact tracing, that you've been in contact closely with someone who has COVID. So that doesn't mean that he has it. That just means he's on the list while they try to, you know, whatever it is, they try to work
out whatever's going on, whatever.
So Raquel Armstead goes back on that COVID list. And the gentleman that I had on from Chicago who told me that Trubisky was going to be the starter, he told me 4 days ago. He told me it, I swear. And he told me that he used to deliver pizza to James Robinson, who is going to be a guy who is in this backfield now. And he said he's the nicest guy. And like, it just reminded me of the story that you just had right there. It's because now you get tied to a person and making a team because you know the person. You actually have interacted with them. And that's what makes these cuts harder to watch, right? Like, if
it's real life. It's real life, isn't it? They're people as well, aren't they, at the end of the day? And and
that's what I love about Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks does the same exact thing. Hard Knocks lets you know that, you know, this is how the cuts go, you know, and it's not easy. You know, there's guys that walk out pissed. They curse the entire time. They have no reason. Like, it's just a numbers game. It doesn't mean that you're not qualified to be in this league. It's just a number game. Someone has to go. That's the issue. So, this weekend's going to be amazing. Just keep your eye.
It's a business, Jason.
Jason, enjoy Thursday night. I know I'm going to be enjoying it. I hope Kelsey gets 4 touchdowns and the Texans win.
I've got them fantasy teams. I've got them. Again, take your feelings out of it. Take your team feelings out of it. You'll win a lot more money that way, I feel like.
Jason, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. I know Pete and I have loved the 2 hours, 20 minutes you spent with us. If you can come back next Saturday, the invite's there. We've got a massive, massive show next Saturday with my man Jeff Reinbolt from Sky Sports, and previously he coached with Kansas, and he's also the Hamilton T-Cats special teams coordinator. So if you can make it, it'll be awesome.
Count me in.
We are. Any final thoughts before we sign off, guys? Pete, anything you want to add?
Nothing at all, other than the fact I cannot wait for Thursday night football, and I'm absolutely buzzing for it, man. I mean, football back on the TV. It's going to be weird seeing what it's going to be like with no people in the stadium and what the atmosphere is going to be like, but I'm not going to care, because if the fact that you can hear the clash of the pads, that is going to be epic.
For sure.
Jason, what's your thoughts?
Just thank you guys, and you know, follow me on Twitter at Jason Aponte 2103. The content's not going to stop. The football season is here, so now it's go time. So if you guys want to check me for fantasy football advice and other teams, cool. You know what I do on Twitter, though. It's all 49ers pretty much at this point, and it's all systems go right now for 49ers content and making sure that I get you guys prepared for the season. And I'm just ready to have fun, man. Like, if anything can save this year, it would be a full football season with no interruptions, no sort of crazy players lost or anything like that. That would absolutely save this horrible year for me.
For sure.
My final thought is, I told you the NFL season was going to take place way back when we first started Shank Club NFL, and we had this conversation. I said to you, And I said to our viewers, there's no way the NFL can't take place this year because it's money, it's business, and it was going to take place.
In the words of Nick, forget about it.
Forget about it. But
Forget about
hopefully this will come across because I've got to finish on this. I watched the Nothing But Niners show from Thursday, and it reminded me of this special moment. And all I can say is thanks for watching. Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Jason. Kevin Harlan, take it away.
Let's go.
Somebody has run out on the field. Some goofball in a hat and a red shirt. Now he takes off the shirt. He's running down the middle by the 50. He's at the 30. He's bare-chested and banging his chest. Now he runs the opposite way. He runs to the 50. He runs to the 40. The guy is drunk, but there he goes. The 20. They're not going to get him. Waving his arms. Bare-chested. Somebody stop that man.
Here comes the blue coat.
Here comes the blue coat. We're out of here.